We got a few dogmatic systems that we can talk about. I know religion is going to be one, but welcome to the show. I got my guy here, 7 Mil. What's going on, boy?
Peace, good brother, my guy. What's up with you?
It's another day, bro. It's another day. What's going on, El Naj?
Peace to the gods.
Peace. All right, bro. Let's go, man. I've been waiting on this, man. I got a couple dogmatic systems I want to talk about. I know right off the top, religion is one of those systems. I know that right off the top. So let's go. I know we got something on religion, right?
Yeah, man. We can go. You already know we can do a whole joint just on religion alone. I think what we should start by reading the definition of dogma.
There you go. All right, I appreciate that. You're absolutely correct, sir.
All right, so you got that, or you want me to do that?
You got it. I don't have it. Out of all the notes I got for the night, that's the one note I don't have.
All right, I'm glad I could contribute something to the conversation there.
Yes, sir.
Right, so dogma, a principle or set of principles laid down by an authority and incontrovertibly as let me start over. A principle or set of principles laid down by an authority as incontrovertibly true. I'm gonna read that one more time. A principle or set of principles laid down by an authority as incontrovertibly true.
Incontrovertibly is the word that keeps like popping for me. And I remember I did look at that definition too. And that's the word that kept popping for me. Incontrovertibly. That's a hell of a word right there.
It is. I agree with you.
You know what I mean?
Incontrovertible is not able to be denied or disputed.
How is that even possible?
Right. Therein lies the problem right there.
You know what I mean? How is that even possible? You can't even question this, right? Oh, man.
All right. So, interestingly enough, let's give some examples, various examples of dogma. Right offhand, one thing that comes to mind is wear your mask.
Okay. Yeah, that's true for today.
I didn't expect that from you, son. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, that's a.
Why you say that?
I just anticipated you to go somewhere else with it.
Or the more obvious.
Maybe not so obvious, but I figured you would continue.
Right. So a principle or set of principles laid down by an authority is incontrovertibly true. Wear your mask, get your vaccine, stay in the house.
Stay in the house.
That's a huge one for today's society. Yeah, that's everybody's locked in. And if you go outside, yes.
I've been playing the pandemic game strong, just the timing and everything going on in my life lined up. So I'm really shut off to a lot of what's going on outside. You know what I mean? I get my groceries delivered and everything.
Man, you sound like my neighbor, man.
You know what I'm saying? But not on no fear, like I'm afraid to go outside. It's just like when the pandemic hit, I was like, oh, word, this is exactly what I needed. You know what I mean? Yeah. I needed to pause, needed to slow down a little bit. So I've been on it like that. But my point in saying all that is that when I do get a chance to go out and catch wind of people's attitudes, I'm really surprised because it always surprises me that people really serious about this thing. People really are afraid and really serious to the point where a couple times I went out at the beginning of the pandemic, man, and almost got into 2 fights. Like I had to really realize, like, wait, the world is operating different and I gotta adjust. You know what I'm saying? Like I had a white woman in a supermarket started a little altercation with me because my mask wasn't all the way up, like over my nose. She was like, yeah, you endangering my safety. I'm like,
she came for you, huh?
Yeah, just the whole idea of Normally I don't have them type of issues where people take the liberty of speaking to me a certain way just out of nowhere in public. You know what I mean? So it just caught me off guard. Like, and I had to realize, man, the world is really in a state of panic. It really reminds me of martial law. You know what I mean?
That's a good example. Yeah, that's a good. Damn good
people realizing they under martial law. Like, and even when the vaccine dropped, like, I mean, I keep up with stuff on the internet, but it's really mind blowing that people are really lining up for the vaccine. People are like, yo, you can't come. I don't want no company unless I get the vaccine. I mean, they going as far as in New York, you can't even, they're trying to set it up from what I understand, where you can't go to theaters, arenas, or nothing without, that vaccination. Like, I heard, I was reading that from the beginning. Like, I mean, they was trying to set it up where you got to have some type of passport or ID to say you got vaccinated in order to reintegrate back into society. You know what I'm saying? And then Wendy Williams did an interview recently where it was funny because Dr. Oz was talking about the vaccine and Wendy Williams was like, nope, I'm not getting the vaccine. You know what I mean? It was just the nature of how she said it and how Dr. Oz was responding that was like, wow, this is pretty deep. You know what I mean? Because he was like, yo, don't you realize you got millions of people that's going to hear you say that and not get the vaccine now? And she was like, so, no, I'm not. I ain't telling them what to do. I'm just not doing it. And I'm like, wow, that to be for that to be Wendy Williams. I'm like, it's nice to see somebody out here, that's still holding on to their voice. They ain't sounding crazy. Because some of these white folks I see on the internet, they call them anti-maskers. They be snapping, they be spazzing out. So they be looking a little crazy, like going in Walmart, and I ain't wearing no mask. Like, they just be looking a little bugged out. But, I mean, just this whole thing is very dogmatic. Very dogmatic.
To your point, man, about this being dogmatic is worldwide too, man. I remember, like, when we first got into this posture, there was a couple of videos going around, like, of people in India. I think they were in India, and it was a couple of the people over there that didn't have it on, and the whole neighborhood beat this. I mean, the whole neighborhood was sticking them. I mean, like, put your damn mask on. And it had a little comedy effect to it, because I'm talking about, like, everybody in the neighborhood kind of gave them the stick. I guess that's their form of comeuppance or whatever. Right. And they gave him the stick, everybody. I mean, and he took it. They was taking it until he put his mask on. So, yeah, that's a perfect example of dogmatic system right there. I mean,
the fact that they saying now, wear two masks. One mask ain't enough. Wear two masks. Like, so literally, I know me personally, man, I had trouble breathing with that on my face all day. I got to at least breathe through my nose. That ain't good enough for people.
Yeah.
So much so to the point now where they talking about they doing anal swabs. That's for COVID. You heard that's the new thing?
I think they was talking about that in China, but they fighting against that, though. I think that's all. I haven't heard that here. That seems a little weird to me, man. I'm gonna wait all this out. I'll stay in the house before I just come off the grid 100%, man. Y'all got to figure that shit out.
I want to be careful with coming.
I'm off the grid.
I want to be careful with that.
Barricade my door, everything, man. Yo,
you heard me, son? You heard me, Phil? You might want to be careful with going off the grid. You see what they got in Texas?
No, I'm talking about, like, off the grid, like I ain't coming out.
I get what you're saying.
I'm not getting my food delivered like Illinois, but that'd be step one of the process.
Right, sure.
Right. I mean, that's pretty much where I'm looking at all this stuff on the computer. Like, all right, I'm not getting no anal swab. I ain't even trying to get shit stuck up my nose. That's out. You know what I'm saying? Fuck a vaccine. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm cool on all that. First of all, they never ever want the, you know what's mad interesting as far as dogma is concerned? Correct me if I'm wrong. But, I spend a lot of time on the internet observing this stuff, and never one time did I hear any claim that the vaccine prevents you from getting COVID.
Well, it's interesting you say that. I was just talking to my uncle. I just got my uncle here. Literally, man, I finished at like 7:30. So he was basically saying that he had got his vaccination and everything, and he was like basically he got the vaccination, but it still didn't he could still catch COVID. And he was saying that he had issues. He was saying he had issues with taking the vaccine, but they told him like if you take it, you can still catch COVID, but you won't die. Was the sales pitch of him taking the vaccine? Like, I had to let him have. I had to let him be in his glory, man. Like, you know what I mean? That. Come on, man.
Those already my odds.
Come on.
That's my odds going into it. You might catch it, but you won't die.
Right.
That's already my odds, fam. I'm not worried about dying.
Well, the way they saying it, this thing is gonna be like the flu down. So
it already is. Exactly what it is.
I'm talking about in terms of it's a forever thing now with us.
I'm hip.
Yeah, so
I'm hip. It already is like that. You'll be vaccinated every year. Conspiracy theorists say more nanites or new nanites every year.
Yeah, well, when it's time for me, I'm going to consider it. I'm not going with this first round though, but I'll consider it.
You know what? You know what's funny? I was thinking about that as well, right? And I'm thinking, how much more progressive will the second round be?
I'm just saying. That makes me feel a whole lot better saying that, though.
if you study things historically, though, this is what history teaches us as far as their agenda. The first round is the people that volunteer, right? Next round is by force, legally. As far as on paper, all right, it's mandatory now to get the vaccine, or you can't go to work, or you can't fly on airplanes, et cetera, et cetera. Next round after that is the next level of force. Yo, we knocking on your door with the vaccine. If you ain't get the vaccine, we dragging you off to jail, to prison. Gestapo type shit.
That's straight out of the science fiction playbook right there.
That is a hell of a segue, man, because that eerily reminds me of the dogma that was used to spread some of the world's religions.
And and it was the same dogma that was used to put Hitler in power.
That as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely have political systems down as a dogmatic institution as well.
Yeah, in terms of the missionaries coming first with the smiling faces, you know what I mean? The next is a little stiffer regime, you know what I mean? And the last regime are the soldiers. You know what I mean? Be down or don't be here.
Right.
That sounds like that's what you're saying to me, man.
Be down to lay down.
Yeah, having said that, I think I need to say something, man. In terms of dogma, man, I've been kicking that word around a little bit this week, man, just to kind of get what people's general thought processes are when you say the word dogma. And so many people go straight to religion. You know what I mean? So, I think it's necessary. They say we're not here to challenge any said belief systems or ideologies. That's not what we're doing. We're here to expound on the word, the term, and the use of the word and the term dogma. You know what I mean?
How it's applied, right.
But rest assured, we will touch some religious dogma in this conversation.
Well, it's the system that gets laid down first.
Right.
So you got to touch on that. I mean, and I second what you said. I'm not challenging anybody's belief systems.
Nah, I could care less what you believe, man.
So
I am.
Yeah.
I'm challenging all that shit.
There we go. There you go.
Yeah, my purpose is just so there's an understanding of like how this thing works, man. It's the reality is it's control of the mind. I mean, think about it, man. We in the movie, man, Book of Eli is one of my favorite flicks, man. And I've watched this since it came out, man. I probably got about 15 viewings of it, man. Especially when we went into this COVID posture, man. every other weekend, man, I throw it on rather than watch some other garbage. And as you look at that whole thing, the whole premise of the movie is about the last book on earth, the last Bible on earth. And what was happening was he was trying to get to where he could propagate that book. Going through these towns and stuff, man, he comes through this one town where the one guy knows that he has that book.
Right.
It was very important for him to get that book. They asked him, the one guy said, "Why are we going around looking for these damn books? They're just books." And the guy kind of like just went crazy on it. He said, "You don't understand. This is the book a book of books. You know, if I get this book, we don't have to fight other towns." You know what I mean? We control the people. So yeah, religion is a system, man, that is laid down that is very important, man. They said the Europeans came to Africa, man, gave them the book and took the land.
That's what they did everywhere. Shit.
Fair exchange.
Yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah.
You know,
you ever seen the movie? Ever seen the movie Equilibrium?
I think so.
Tate Diggs and Christian Bale.
I seen.
They played Batman.
I saw that.
It's not coming to me.
Oh boy, you in for a treat. You know what I mean? The storyline on that joint crazy. Basically, the premise of it is that it's a crime to experience any type of emotions. So anything that provokes emotion with mankind has been banned, has been outlawed. So all books are banned, all movies are banned, all music is banned, colors, decorations, pictures, anything that provokes emotion, love, anything. And basically society, everybody in society got to wake up and take this drug every day to suppress their emotions. But at the same time, anything that provokes emotions is illegal. So obviously there are going to be people who rebel, people that collect books, records.
Absolutely.
Those people are considered to have committed a thought crime. And once they're found, they're immediately executed. And they got a whole task force set up to find people that experience different emotions.
Shit, we ain't too far off from that now.
Right. Exactly. I mean, we are here now. The only difference is that the music and all that, it hasn't been completely outlawed, but what they do is they control emotions we experience. They control the directive, narrative.
That's another one. That's another one of those dogmatic systems. Entertainment, man. That whole industry is dogmatic, man. It's the same type of industry that has been shut down since the beginning of this thing, man. As we get into it, man, I'll talk more about it, man. But yeah, entertainment is another one, man.
So let's keep mapping it out. So far we got religion, we got entertainment, we got education,
politics as well.
Politics.
We gonna rush there for a minute. Or we just naming them.
Yeah, we just naming them because it's several of them.
Let's keep track of this list so we can just go down the list and touch on each one. Let me go ahead and
let's do that list one more time. Religion.
I'm on it right now. Hold on. Religion. What we say? Politics.
Entertainment.
Entertainment. Education. Entertainment. Education. What else did we say?
I think that was it, but I think there's a couple. I think the ones that I'm thinking of are sub to the ones that we already got. Like I got the beauty industry,
like vanity.
Or
we talking about so we talking about industry. So we'll say the cosmetic industry,
Yeah, cosmetic. Yeah, absolutely.
We'll say the medical industry.
As we were going down, I thought about this. I want to see what y'all think about it too, because I think it has something to do with how everybody manages it. But I was thinking about money too, like finance and money.
Oh yeah, you got financial dogma. Like
Yeah.
the whole concept, to me, the whole concept of constantly referring to the Black community as poor. But I mean, even if I'm specifically referencing people that don't have a lot of money, you know what I mean? But what I mean is they come up with terms like disenfranchised, or you know what I'm saying? Everything that has nothing to do with the fact that our resources and our land and various other forms of morale have been extracted from our communities and stolen from external forces. You use every term to kind of divert attention from that, which
That's
then
what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
I was thinking that.
Which then leaves the door open for the victim to be blamed. So much so that it's even considered like a negative thing to even refer to ourselves as victims, despite the fact that we have been victimized and that we are continuously being victimized. It's looked at as an inferior thing. Consider yourself as such. That's financial dogma. You know what I mean? It is definitely something that's being promoted on a daily basis.
So how about this? How about capitalism? I'm gonna refer to that as a religion.
I mean,
what y'all think about
that? To the capitalists, it is.
So it would have to carry a dogmatic nature in of itself.
Absolutely.
As a system, yeah, I can see where you're going with it. As a system, yeah, because you have to have structures in capitalism for it to work.
Right.
Somebody has to be at the bottom.
What's that word again? It's a
hell of a word, man. It's a hell of a word, man.
Incontrovertible. What I want to say. It has to have incontrovertible elements to it in order for it to work, right?
Right. Like part of that system, man, is somebody's got to be shit upon, basically. Somebody got to be shit on, man.
Somebody got to come up short.
Yeah, so somebody got to be shit on, and somebody got to be picking up the shit.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, man, because that explains dogma in a whole nother life for me right there. Some people will be shat upon, right?
Yeah, man.
Oh, that's pretty heavy right there.
Yeah, that's capitalism.
I enjoy y'all, brothers, man. I really do enjoy y'all, man. Real right.
Automatically, first thing that came to mind is when we was talking about Brother Polite and he had all the money on the bed, bowing down, praying to the money. You know what I mean?
Umar.
And Umar, like, you know, all of those what they call them, those preachers that you know what I mean?
Prosperity preaching.
Yeah, prosperity preachers, right?
Good.
They the new age prosperity preachers.
Yes, they are, man.
How about that? You ever see that feat?
What's that?
Coonskin.
No, I ain't
seen the movie Coonskin.
Oh, you ain't never seen Coonskin?
You will thoroughly enjoy that, man.
I'm writing down, man.
Yeah.
I got to give you a little piece of that, man. While we on that subject, yo, I at least got to give you a little sneak peek of that.
Yeah, you put me on that, Dre.
Yeah, I'm right.
Did, yo?
Yeah, you put me on Coonskin.
I got two now. I got Equilibrium and Coonskin now.
Oh man.
Yeah, Coonskin gonna take you back, fam. That's gonna do something to you. Your boy Barry White was in that joint.
And
Barry White was in it.
And be completely enjoyable in doing such. You're gonna enjoy the fuck out of Coonskin.
Coonskin. That's a hell of a name.
Yeah. Agree. Agree.
Man, it automatically puts you in a different spot, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pick that out, man.
For sure. Hey.
I got a little scene coming for you in a second. And Philip Michael Thomas was in that joint.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be very interested in that, man.
You don't know the half of it.
Especially as we're sitting here talking about these systems, man.
Yeah, Coonskin is a wild joint, man.
Cool.
It really is.
Hey,
I'm gonna give you a little sample of it.
Thanks for tagging. You got it coming on now?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Satire. Okay, I got it already.
All right, I'm going to give you a little example. I heard that 350 of you white folks committed suicide by jumping off of the Golden Gate Bridge, and out of the 350, there was only 2 that was niggers, and one of them was pushed. Listen, Randy, I just remember, I used to know 3 guys, just like you and your friends. Come on. No shit. There wasn't any difference. And that was Brother Rabbit. As smart as you are, he was. And as mean as you is, he is. And Brother Bear, as big as he was, that's how strong he was. Preacher Fox, as wild as he was, that's how wild he was. Oh, stick it, tuck it, to it, swing it. Oh, get that thing out. Oh, yeah. Oh, baby. We're gonna be going now. Ben, now don't you go believing that I'm shaky. I still got it, Ben. I don't lie to you or God. I still take care of Rabbit and Bear you. And I don't want you or Mama to worry none, cause old Fox here, he done gone. Stop it, Fox, stop it. I'm gonna be putting you back now, Ben. Don't you worry about a thing.
Hey, Fox, you seen Blue? I'm gonna get our money and leave.
No. The last time I seen Blue, he was showing the sheriff's daughter Marigold a room.
What? Sheriff's daughter? Howdy, boys. Who do I pay around here for my pleasure?
Oh, well, it's on the house, sir.
Much obliged, boy.
Which one of you fine Southern gentlemen is next?
Marigold.
Daddy?
Killing crackers? Well, I guess that's cool any day. But,
Don't blame him, man. His pappy was a slave. Some brothers got beat up so bad when they were young that they never come around. Ask Miss America.
Hey, honey, it has been good for us. I mean, meaning us. See, our relationship has increased a tonfold these here few years. And I'm so happy and lucky to feel that we is finally getting it together. And you know where I'm coming from? So how about Miss America coming over to my place and let me squeeze your tits? I should have fucked her when I had the chance.
That nigga could be right.
Hey, brother. What am I supposed to expect to happen in here?
What's going on in there, man?
Here's where Sybil Saber runs his black revolution, brother. Yeah. That's through Black Jesus, which the Reverend is cousin to. He gives people the strength to kill whites.
Kill whites? You hear that shit? Any whites?
Yeah, any white.
Just a bitch.
anyone we want?
Ain't just a bitch.
We can kill anyone we want.
Any whites.
I have one special demand.
Stop it. You mean we can kill any whites we want to kill?
Any whites.
Man, I ain't got no money. Rabbit,
I know that.
I ain't got no money.
Well, I know you ain't lying. In this groovy graveyard, beside the what y'all call it? Beside the beer. Oh, yes, he served good beer. And bless this
Hey, you win.
Huh? I win? I won?
Okay, yeah, boy. Hey, put down your gun. You won. You can take me. Come on, fella.
Oh, she got to clap.
Classic right there.
Yeah.
That's a cool classic right there. So you got the burning the sage, good brother.
I need that right now.
Word.
That's medicine for me right now.
That shit like a big ass bud and shit. Oh, there's a big ass bud.
Uh-huh.
That's a little bit to digest, huh, Feet?
Yeah, it was, man, but it touched on a lot of the dogma though, man.
Sure.
Yeah, and that ain't the half, fam. That was just like various clips from the movie. That joint way bugged. That joint is bugged out, yo.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to peep that out, man. But from what I seen, man, I mean, listen, that's straight out of what, the 70s?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's what 20 years coming out of Jim Crow and all that, man. All them systems was on display right there.
Yeah.
Loving America, America not loving you back, right?
Right.
What do you say? I should have fucked her.
Fuck when I had the chance. And before you went face first, it was like, oh, shit. He got the clap.
You know what I mean? Got the shit beat out of him, man. But yeah, I saw several, man. I saw like what? Entertainment.
Yeah.
I saw politics in there, you know, America. You know, I saw all that, man.
Religion.
Money. I saw religion, money. The whole gambit, man.
Seen white supremacy with the sheriff coming in there.
I saw all that, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that's brilliant.
That I guess what would that fall under? White supremacy as dogma.
That's politics, man.
Politics. White supremacy is the author of the dogma.
Yeah, I think that's religion. I think that's politics. It's definitely entertainment, definitely education, beauty.
That's the father, the Führer.
The Führer.
I guess we could just change the word from dogma to white supremacy and call it a fucking thing.
Right.
Yeah, I guess at the top of all of that, right?
Yeah.
That was deep, man. I mean, they put it in a satire. It said that in the very beginning, but yeah, you saw all those dogmatic systems on display right there, man. That was, yeah. I'm gonna have to peep that out, man. To peep that out, man.
Buckle up for that one.
That's all right. I was buckled in when I first saw the whole thing, man.
Yeah.
I was buckled in, man. But that was a nice way to ease our audience into exactly what we talk about. I don't know. Well, some of them may not think it was nice. They might be a little squeamish. Well, I mean, that broke you in real good right there. Because that's what we talking about, man.
Yeah.
That's what we talking about, man.
Sure.
Now, the other day, and Mill, you was involved in this too. And I think maybe El Nas, you saw a little bit of that too, but they was talking about what was that? The teenager who was at the top of his class with a 0.13 grade point average.
Top half of his class, yeah. I was actually going to mention that, man. You know, I'm glad.
Okay, well, I'll pass it over to you then, man.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad you tagged me into that, man. That was some interesting viewpoints.
Yeah.
You know, the one
isn't
brother,
it?
My bad.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, the one brother, you know, I think we kind of echo what each other was saying a little bit, man. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I actually would jump back on that this morning. You know what I'm saying?
But you see everybody's initial reaction. Initial reaction, and El Naj, you kind of pointed on it too. Is everybody wants to go to like the victim of the dogmatic system. Where was the mother at? No, it's the system first, right? We talk about a system that basically was putting you out of their school, basically, right? That's really what was happening, right? If you at the top of your class with such a grade, they really just you in a factory. But nobody was talking about the factory. They was all talking about the victims of the factory.
Right.
It's frustrating, man, because you got to look at the system, man. Come on, man.
You know what's interesting about that is that is more common than we realize. You know, we're taking it back off that one article. As someone that worked in the educational system and with my own experiences coming up in the public school system, that's actually the norm. I'm not saying that's an exception to the rule. I'm literally saying that's actually the norm. I speak on that all the time. There are students that can't read, can't spell their name, can't do math, but they'll get passed along just because the teacher don't want to see them again next year. It's because the school don't want to keep them around. So they'll go ahead and let you graduate with the class.
Nope.
I know that for a fact because it happened to me. You know, I was very rebellious when it came to school. I had a lot of liberty growing up. So I chose to go to school when I wanted. I chose to stay home when I wanted. I chose to hang out in the park rather than go to school when I wanted. I missed hundreds of days of school. I got plenty of F's on my report card. And I never got left back one time. And I only went to summer school once. And that wasn't until I got to high school. And that really was because I just wanted to see what the experience was going to be like. It was going to pass me regardless. I just was like, yeah, I'll go to summer school and take the class, hang out with Mr. Hoffman from Southern. You know what I mean? History teacher.
Hoffman.
I thought you might recognize that name, man.
Which one? There was two of them.
The boy that had gambling problems. White boy that had gambling problems.
That was the smaller one.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So you know.
Ironically, you know, I'm a graduate of South Philly High, man. So
right.
In Mr. Hoffman class, that's what they did.
Yeah, we gambled in his class all summer long.
All summer, we did it all the school year long too, man.
Right. So even when I went to summer school, it wasn't about doing the work. Still passing. All we did was gamble.
Man, listen, the people need to hear this, man. This is real. This is real life shit, man. This is the educational system right here.
This is the plan, you know. And that was my input to that whole conversation, man. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's a plan. Like, how can you not see that it's a plan? You know, but the brother, you know, I don't know if I should give him a shout out. Well, fuck it, brother Eric Marsh, man. He came up with a hell of a concept, man. A hell of a saying. The culture of failure. You know what I mean? The acceptance of a culture of failure.
Right. And let me throw this in there too. Nobody ever checked me. Like when I say I miss hundreds of days of school per school year, I'm not talking about in total. I'm talking per school year. I missed over 100 days. Nobody ever checked me. I want to say this in terms of blaming the parents, right? I don't blame my mom for anything, right? My mother was so busy working, trying to survive and advance in society on a personal note, as well as keeping a roof over my head. It wasn't that she was a neglect, depending on perspective, but it wasn't that she was intentionally being neglected. You know what I mean? When you growing up and you don't have no money, you know what I mean, and you're a single parent and you got to get money, and then my mom was dealing with medical issues as well. She didn't have the energy to see what I was doing every moment of every day. It wasn't that she didn't care. When she found out I was cutting school, it was a problem. You know what I'm saying? It was an issue. The problem was that, you know what I mean, her dealing with her own personal issues, her medical issues, learning herself, you know what I mean, advancing through society. She just didn't have the time and energy, to keep up with every step of everything I was doing every step of the way. I can't blame her for that.
Hey, while we got a second, man, let me welcome in the good brother. What's going on, Avu? How you, bro?
I'm well, man. How you, bro?
Oh, man, pleasure to have you, brother.
Good to be on. Good to be going. How y'all, man? 7 mil.
Mighty.
Now. How y'all, bro?
Good, man. Good. You hear us talking about these dogmatic systems, bro.
I'm hearing it. Real quick before y'all get back to it, y'all reach out to Mother Queen, the lady. I talked to her today.
You did?
Yeah.
I tried to call her. I didn't think she was taking calls, so I'll reach back out to her.
Yeah, she told me to tell you to reach back out because she did see that you called. You know how stuff is moving up.
Yeah.
But
okay.
She's in therapy now, so everything is progressing.
Yes, sir.
I was at the Kingdom 2 days ago talking to Sher.
Okay.
So I got a little some info on that, man. I'm glad to hear that, man. Much love, respect, speedy recovery.
Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to her tomorrow, pronto. Absolutely, man.
Yeah,
me as well.
Okay.
Something happened to Miss Irene?
Yeah, she had a procedure. I was talking to her earlier. She was saying that actually, I let her tell her, but it was a procedure where it was a growth of tumor near the brain. So it caught it in time. It was really growing. Caught it in time. It was now she on rehab and recovery like a soldier. Yeah.
She took the joint over, man. She trying to come home now.
Yeah. So that's where it was at. But she on the recovery tip now.
Yeah, she definitely is. So
see y'all some love, and when y'all get a minute, holler.
Absolutely. Like I said, I tried to reach out, but I figured she was in it.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I'll holler back at her though.
Indeed.
Definitely, man. Indeed. But I'm gonna pick up where you was at, Elanaj, on your comments, because I want to add to it. Your situation was similar to mine in terms of parental guidance, whatever you want to call it, like during that time. I second what you said, man. Our parents, man, they had a hell of a cross to bear on their own without dealing with us. So in terms of guidance in my teenage years, I didn't have that either. I could have done the same thing you did in terms of like not going to school, whatever, hustling or whatever the case may be. But I didn't. I didn't. I went to Bartram. It was probably one of the better schools at that time. So I got a little bit out of that time there. So, but yeah, absolutely, man. Our parents got a lot on it. Black people got a lot on their backs, bro.
Let me show you how crazy it was for me by the time I got to high school. You said you went to Bartram, right?
Yeah.
I went to Saw Agricultural. I went to Dobbins Tech. From Dobbins Tech, I went to Gratz, Simon Gratz.
Shit, you was jumping around, boy.
I'm gonna give you the backstory to that. So then one day I went to school at Simon Gratz, and I had a pager. I was coming in school, and security took my pager and said the only way you can get your pager back is at the end of the school year when you transfer. I went straight to the office, got the transfer paper, signed my mom's signature, and transferred to William Penn, because William Penn had a swimming pool and I could go swimming all day. and I got my pager back. So I knew how to sign my mom's signature by the time I was in 5th grade.
Dang.
You know what I mean? So I said Sawyer Cultural, Dobbins, Simon Gratz, William Penn. Then from William Penn, I went to Job Corps, which they wouldn't let me sign my mom's signature on that. My mom had to show up in person. But by that point, my mom was like, all right, man, go ahead, yo. She signed off, and I went to Job Corps. I literally went to 5 different high schools.
I'm right in there with you.
I learned a lot.
It's a
hell of a journey, bro.
I went to Academy Park, and then I wound up in Southern. Cakewalk.
It's a hell of a journey, man.
All the schools I went to, man, were considered to be good schools until I got to Southern. My mom never actually wanted me to go to school in the inner city. She didn't want me to go to public school at all. You know what I'm saying? She did everything in her power to keep me out of public school, man. And looking back on it now, as a grown man, I thought I got over when I got to Southern, man, because they gave me what I considered to be remedial courses, man, because I had them shits like in 9th grade, man. You know what I'm saying? 8th grade in some cases, man. You know what I mean?
You see the difference when you go from private school to public school.
Exactly. Speaking of the dogma of the education system, man, you know what I mean? And they knew I was a gifted student. You know, just by the list of schools I just named. West Catholic, Lamberton, Academy Park. You know what I mean? They stuck me right in there with the rest of everybody else, man. And to be honest with you, man, I don't think I bent the brain cell between 10th and 12th grade. I didn't learn shit academically. You know what I'm saying? And still graduated in the top half of my class. I mean, the work was easy because I already had it. But I realized that, you know what? They don't even push us to excel. They don't, even when you got good students. Even when you got good students who can handle that caseload, that workload, they won't even push you to do that shit. I couldn't tell you who my counselor was in high school. For the 2 years I was at Southern, 3 years I was at Southern, I couldn't tell you.
I didn't even know it was a such thing as a counselor in high school.
Man, y'all are giving like great examples of educational dogma, man. You know, that's the reality of it, man.
Yep.
That's something. I'm curious now. What year y'all come out? Because when I'm listening, I can go as far back as like elementary, junior high. It was like, all right, of course I'm older, so I came out in 80 high school. So you gotta figure I was in junior high and all that in the 70s, elementary in the 70s. So you still had community schools, public schools where you had black teachers, male, female, you know.
What?
So you still had that dynamic going on,
right?
Where it was actually a connection and a caring involved, where you were neutering the children.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Not just giving them some curriculum. So especially in elementary, junior high, high school, as you talking about. So you're talking about 77 to like 80. So I could start seeing it sparse out. Now, mind you, my challenge then became with Nas was talking about earlier, the family dynamic, because the school system was still a fair shot. Then I went to Bartram Moat, then Bartram, but because of the family dynamic, I was supposed to go 2 different other high schools, King, and then finally, like Ramil said, back to Southern, which fortunately for me was only the last year, because I know when I got there, I was like, whoa, no wonder mom kept me from here, because if I'd have got here, I'd have never made it.
I had the same experience.
Right, I'd never made the journey. You know what I mean? So on my way out, that was cool. But it's funny too, because now high school, I was getting prepped for college. You're going to a Bartram Moat, so that was good. The dynamic though started happening. The family dynamic, traveling, mom and pops traveling, go stay with pops, I guess, because when I'm a young man, so they young. They young couple. When you look back, you gotta see with the dynamic. You know what I mean? So they figuring it out with me. I'm the first one, so they figuring out. We all figuring this shit out. So, I stay with pops, go to King, and it's funny because now I got introduced to my own militancy in the subconscious manner, because I could still remember being in 11th grade and going to history class. And back then, that's when they changed the dynamic. Before I got in high school, you could still go to class and pass even without great attendance, right? They changed it to you having to have a certain amount of attendance to even pass, because you had cats like myself that would go to history class, read the chapter, because it's programming, European centric mythology and programming. So for me, when he told me what we was reading, I read ahead, go test day, knock the test out, I'm out to the next test, right? Yeah, because I ain't for the rest of this. Old white guy, old white guy, the whole dynamic, right? So when they got to us, it was slavery, of course, and just that whole dynamic. And I didn't even understand it then, but it rubbed me the wrong way to the point where, again, I stopped going to class, but I would go test day. So I failed that, and that was my first brush with the education system and going through that dynamic. But I never forget that experience, and I know why it rubbed me the wrong way in that whole dynamic. Speaking of dogmas with the education, how they throw that on us. But I just see now my spirit was just so fighting against just what it was put in subconsciously that sent me on a mission, to find out, other than what we was getting. But yeah, that whole educational thing, I'm just, when I'm hearing y'all, I'm hearing too how I see too how it start as we got the generations start coming. They just let the they just let the flock do their thing, where they had us more contained and it was more trying to get in. But by the time I got to that, y'all was fighting against that whole thing because it was it was a dogma, it was something presented on y'all. You had the spirit of knocking that whole thing off. But we was more conformant in a way, but initially it was more because of the communal aspect of it. You was getting it done by your elders, a father figure, mother figure, so forth.
I got something that's going. I've said it before. We don't understand the power of it until we speak it. We were going to school in the crack era, man.
Yeah. I look at that. You know what I mean?
You gotta look at that, man. We went to school in the crack era, man.
Yeah, that was real for y'all, because y'all talking what, 80s, 90s?
Yeah, well, no, for me, 90s? Well, maybe for Illinois, I got, me and Mill came out of 87.
Yeah, okay. So we're talking 84 to 87.
Yeah.
High school was 84 to 87. So we right in the middle of that shit.
Nino Brown was jumping.
We were right in the middle of all that shit, man.
We ain't gonna get it. I ain't gonna out you, bro. You know what I mean? As far as what we was doing around that time. You know what I mean? But so the whole hustle mentality kind of just hit us real hard. You know what I mean?
Well, not even just that. Just look at the environment, man. The whole thing, man.
Yeah. That's what I was leading to.
That devastation.
I mean? We seen it go from, reefer to crack.
Overnight.
In a blink of an eye. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so you're right. So we in the middle of the crack era going to school, right? So you can't talk to me about the Civil War. I don't give a damn about no damn Civil War, man.
We in the Civil War every day.
You know what I mean?
Right. So y'all could separate that quick because of y'all reality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could separate the BS quick.
Yeah, I want to say something. Yeah. Speaking of dogma, man, when I was in grade school, man, I became a bit intrigued, to say the least, about Greek and Roman culture, man, because I was a Catholic school, and that was a heavy push. You know what I'm saying? And by the time I got to like 8th grade, man, I started realizing that these stories have been grafted from Africans. When I started being introduced to Egypt or Kemet, I could see how those cultures just copied everything that was there. But in the school system, they never taught us about the black existence. They never taught us about Egypt. They never taught us about Kemet. They taught us everything started in Greece. You know what I mean? So I became a little bit of a history buff at that time. You know what I mean? And then it kind of angered me, man, that they just wrote us right out of that whole story. You know what I'm saying? That was crazy to me.
Yeah, you know what thought came to mind on that was they're not sending you to school to become great. They're sending you to school to become a worker, man.
No, they're training you. It's a training ground.
Indoctrination. So yeah, the reality is
dogma.
Yeah, this system is feeding. It needs to be fed, man. I mean, we talk about dogmatic systems, man.
It don't get no more dogmatic.
You know,
than that.
then you know we hear later on about the legal system, you know, the prison system, you know, how, you know, judges are getting paid, corporations are getting paid. They building new corporations in suburbs. They need to be fed. Where's the feeding ground at? Where's the feeding ground at, right?
I don't even know why you brought that up, man.
You know what I mean?
I guess we got to include legal dogma, which kind of crosses into political dogma, but
exactly.
Essentially, it's a category into itself. Legal dogma. You know what I mean? When you get in those courtrooms,
courtrooms, that's a hell of a system right there. That's right. Man. I was
legal dogma. An example of legal dogma is marijuana locking in the cause of so many black people getting their lives ruined just for white people to come along now and control the whole industry. Yeah, you had to use legal dogma in order to promote that.
Absolutely.
That's a hell of a concept, son. Mm-hmm. Who's behind me?
Yeah.
Right.
And now look at how they treat the opioid crisis, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
another good example.
So
that's a health crisis.
They put money behind that. You got University of Penn and all that getting funding.
I'm searching for something.
Things, man.
You know, I just watched that Billie Holiday story, and you know, one of the things that they talked about was her heroin addiction and how FBI used that. Hunt her down, to ruin her career and her life.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you a question.
Let
me ask you a question. Mm-hmm. Have you ever paid attention to Ladies' Day's lyrics?
Of course.
Yeah, why wouldn't we?
So could that have been the reason why she was hunted down?
Well, that's the whole premise of the movie. The movie is called Billie Holiday versus the United States. And the whole premise of the movie is that FBI was hunting her down because she was going around singing the song "Strange Fruit."
Absolutely.
Which interestingly enough, was written by a white man that was
riding through the stuff, right?
Part of a communist party, and so that
up in New York, yeah.
So that was a big part of it too. You know what I mean? They felt like he was spreading communist propaganda by singing that song.
Absolutely.
Ironically, man, Ironically, when I get off of here, that was my mission, man. I was gonna sit down and check that joint out.
Yeah, I mean, well, just keep in mind that it's directed by Lee Daniels. Also,
listen, that is since you brought it up, man, that's the stopping point for me, man. I'm gonna wait on that, man. I'm gonna wait on that, man. I mean, he from the crib too, right?
Yeah, he's somewhere. He say you sure they the suburbs, because they claim Philly quick. I don't care where they from.
Yeah.
Might be Ambler or something.
Listen, man.
Shout out to Ambler. Yay.
Yeah, my man Cotton's out, I got some boys out there, but yeah, man, that whole Billie Holiday was deep. Exactly, that and a legal dogma,
I'm gonna wait on that, man. Because I haven't seen a Lee Daniels film that's really been good, man. You know what I mean?
I couldn't tell you Lee Daniels.
Haven't watched the movie. I can tell you, it ain't gonna hurt you to wait. You know what I mean? To put the other joints in front of that and go ahead. Okay. It ain't gonna hurt nothing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Props to Andra Day. You know what I mean?
She won the
character Billie Holiday.
By the way, here's another thing.
Hey, Feet, I guess I'm gonna have to look at that one, man, and employ what you told me about the boy Kevin Samuels, man. I'm gonna have to look at it from that gaze.
Yeah, I'm gonna peep it out, but I ain't rushing out, man. I ain't rushing out to peep that, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
definitely, man. But since we talking about Andra Day and her win, you know that what is that, the Academy of Fine Arts and all that? She is like what, the first Black female to win a Golden Globes or something like that out of all films.
Really?
Which, that don't surprise me because, when they, this is my thing. Whenever they seem to do a movie about Black icons, right? Specifically when that Black icon is no longer alive, they always focus on the dysfunctions, the drama. And when they do white biopics, they still include the dysfunctions in the drama, but they kind of make it a little more well-rounded. Still come out the hero in the end.
Absolutely.
Listen, they do it so well, Nuts. You praise them in spite of some of that. Listen, because some of that, we talk about drama and heroism and all that. Some of that shit they be into. Seriously.
Right.
I can remember watching somebody being young and be torn watching the film. I'd be like, damn, that's the dude I'm supposed to be rooting for. That's the good guy. He's a little fucked up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Trauma porn, right?
Listen, I was watching the Ted Bundy joint they did, serial killer joint. The way they dressed that joint up by the end of the movie, you feeling bad for the boy. What? Like,
damn, homie. Yeah, damn.
Exactly.
Homie.
Exactly, man. And that's what I got, like, from watching all the clips and stuff, man. And I saw an interview he did, man, and Lee Daniels, that is.
Right.
And I was like, this is gonna be some trauma porn, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can wait on that.
That's his twist.
Yeah. And he said he wanted to specifically like focus on the the heroin addiction and all that, man.
They did it the Miles. They did it the Miles Davis with Don Cheadle.
Yeah.
They did it the Jimi Hendrix using Andre 3000.
Yeah.
They did it in the most recent joint with Chadwick Boseman and Viola Davis, Ma Rainey.
Right.
They did it with James Brown.
Yeah.
Played by Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, they did it with it's my man.
And
now go ahead.
list goes on.
Yeah.
List goes on.
Yeah.
One thing.
Did they touch on it in Malcolm X too? Pretty heavily.
Well, yeah, his Detroit Red era, yeah, they definitely, and they played that up in his autobiography, definitely.
Yeah.
That was interesting because they gave you like 3/4 of the movie of Detroit Red, and then towards the tail end of the movie.
That's what I'm saying, man. Absolutely, man. You gonna get this trauma porn.
Right.
You gonna get this trauma porn.
The new twist that you'll see in the Billie Holiday joint and the Ma Rainey joint, the new twist is they make sure that they include the agenda in there. They make sure, like, it's interesting because, personally, I wasn't there. I don't know what Billie Holiday did in her bedroom, but my point is that I never had it in my mind that she was bisexual until I seen this movie.
Right. I didn't see that, but really? Wow.
Lee Daniels, man. That's what I'm saying, man. He was talking about how there's some elements of her that need to be known. I'm like, no, it don't.
Right.
No, it don't.
He be on, he on his Wendy Williams.
Come on, man. That don't need to be known, man. That's a
he on his Wendy Williams.
I'm with you on that, Feek. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, that don't need to be known, man.
Nah. If it's factual, because like Nas said, we wasn't there.
Yeah. So, well, yeah, that's Daniels, man. He got to find a way.
Out of his imagination, his hope.
Yeah, I'm not a fan, man. So I'll wait because I'm gonna watch it because I understand the sister played the role, and she embodied her. So I'm gonna pick it because of that.
And that's how they do. That's how they do. They play off of our talents. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that without that, storyline will be garbage. But you know,
I kind of feel you on that. I think that probably would be the case. Is she bodied the role, so with her body in the role, and that's what really makes the movie. The script probably is garbage, like you said. You know,
garbage.
So yeah, but that's the entertainment industry, man. Denzel Washington gets the Oscar for playing old boy, but he can't get the Oscar for Malcolm or Hurricane.
Right.
You know what I mean? He bodied those roles, right? But he played Alonzo, right? He bodied that role too, but guess what he was though?
Come on, Fee. That's confirmation.
He was the worst kind of motherfucker. He was so bad that Denzel, who had like an executive producer credit at the end, said no, he got to die horribly.
You know what I mean? After playing that role,
my nigga.
You know what I mean? But so much of that role is in our culture now, right? You know what I mean?
That's why they put it out there.
Oh man.
What's that term the brother used?
Yeah. Yeah, they had alternate death scenes for that joint, Feet.
I saw.
Yeah, they had joints there in his show. It got crazy with it.
Yeah, he said he has to die horribly. He was such a terrible But yeah, he wins an Oscar for that, but he can't win an Oscar for the Spike Lee joint or the Hurricane piece.
Should he couldn't win an Oscar for Ricochet?
So is it accurate in saying that the Jewish small hats still control the industry?
Yeah. You said the Jewish control the industry.
Small hats, they still control the industry.
Small hats.
You know the ones you never see them. They call them small hats. You see them? With
yarmulkes.
In the head. Yeah,
small hats.
I never heard that before, man. That's a new one, man. I ain't never heard that one.
Yeah, so when you hear that term going forward, because now you'll hear it. Yeah, that's what they refer to.
I'm probably going to hear it a lot now.
Yeah,
I never heard it before tonight, man.
Yeah, that's what they're referring to. So they control the entertainment industry, you know, that as far as monetarily.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think they control it as far as content too, though.
Well, you know, you get to play in that. So, you know, you get some real content mixed in with the garbage. But, you know, to the degree, you know, overall, yeah, the agenda gets out, you know. Because like Feek said, especially when you're talking about credentials and stuff, you know, because we hold those things in high esteem in our culture. You know, control that. You know, they got the boy. They changed his name to Oscar. It was last I checked. Who was that standing up there, Nas?
On the statue for the award. Ty.
Indeed.
That's for Ty, right?
Indeed. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, the Oscar is
as soon as he became Oscar, you know, we was out of the game. We out the game.
Man, that's deep.
But that's entertainment dogma. We just covered.
I was about to say. Dogma. So we just got into that. That was good, man.
Yeah,
absolutely good, man. So
one more, man. What did you say about Ma Rainey? Because I just checked that, and I'm.
That's the one with Latifah.
Hmm.
No, that's with Viola Davis.
No,
yeah, the newest one.
Right.
What's the one with Latifah?
Yeah.
She played.
So I'm not even going to touch on the crazy makeup scheme that they had going on. I went and looked at Ma Rainey's actual picture, thinking that she wore her makeup crazy. Yeah, that's how they had her wearing it through the whole movie. Yeah. I'm like, wait, she wasn't even on it like that. Why they got her looking all scallywag like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they was extra.
That's how they be doing Viola Davis, period.
Yeah.
They made her a lesbian in that joint too. They made her bisexual in that joint
girl.
Too.
Yeah, I seen that. That's why I'm trying to get your feedback. I peeped that one. I didn't see Billy, but I seen that. But I'm curious because the feedback I'm getting, I'm like, did the people, what was they watching? Because it was interesting. Go ahead. What's your take on it?
Well, I mean, you know, again, if I'm watching it, you know, I try to look at things through the lens of somebody who don't know, young, coming up, impressionable, watching this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Let them tell our story. At this point, everybody who was black that was an icon was on some gay shit, first of all. Let them tell it. Secondly, I'll say this. You know, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. You know what I mean? He smashed that role, you know what I mean, as far as acting.
He did.
You know, I like seeing movies that take place in one scene, like one scene or two scenes, and the actor is just so profound. They don't even need a whole lot of extra shit going on. Kill it.
Yeah, that's when you
and
doing your
Viola
craft. Yeah, that's when you're doing your
right.
craft. Yeah.
And Viola Davis too. She's one as far as craftsmanship as an actor. Like she's amazing to me as an actress. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So between her and Chadwick, I think they had my man Glenn Thurman in there too, right?
Glenn Thurman. Yeah.
No, you already know he's a legend on screen. You know what
legend.
I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So acting wise, man, that shit was phenomenal, man. You know what I mean? Acting wise.
I thought so.
Storyline, even with the storyline, they told a relevant story about how, you know what I mean, white folks be keeping their hand in our cookie jar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They made sure to give me the impression that, you know what I mean, everybody in this joint was gay, and they still made a movie that focused on the dysfunction of Black people. You know what I mean? Chadwick killed off Glenn Thurman's character. You know what I mean, same shit, even with the Black Panther movie. That storyline to me was garbage.
Stop right there for a minute with that scene. Now, and I get the dysfunctional too, but now too, what I got out of that particular scene was how you see where the anger was at. The anger was towards the establishment, the boy that was taking his gift of music, right? And
he was yes sir with him.
Didn't compensate him, and then actually disrespected him as a man. Right,
he was yes a boss, yes sir, all day with him.
And then we take that energy and we direct it at
on his man's right
back to the self, right? Because that's my brother, that's me, right?
And you know, when you put it like that, it's a relevant aspect to the storyline. You know, I'm not taking away from that. What I am saying is that it's a pattern.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
a pattern when it comes to Black movies. So I was getting ready to bring up the movie Black Panther, which obviously is one of the biggest Black movies of our lifetime, right? Storyline on that was trash truck juice.
We rumbling each other.
You know what I mean? We rumbling each other. They bring the white man into Wakanda, show him all his secrets.
My man, and he flying, he's saving the day. He's flying the joint out. Man, I get hot every time I see that.
Right, and then
I don't watch it. I don't watch it as much because I haven't. I would say as much as I normally would. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Then by the end of the movie, he kills off Killmonger, who says, "Bury me with my ancestors." They understand that death is better than bondage, right? So he killed him and then come to the United States to pick up his mission where he left off and give us a punk ass science center.
And then and my thing though too, watching it again actually recently, is that's kind of what you went at your pop at. You went at your pop about why he leave that there, why he, that whole why thing. You know what I mean? Why you ain't telling me why you had to do X, Y, Z, and then you didn't rectify it.
Nah, he just killed.
That's my whole thing in the film. You know what I mean? You was questioning your father about that, and rightfully so. You know how he handled X, Y, Z. How I go down like that with Uncle, why we leave the boy over there, the whole night, right?
But even that goes into the pattern because they like creating this pattern with Black movies and Black sons and fathers. The Black son always got to have an issue with the Black father.
It goes into what we was talking about last week, right? Where we got to give him some grace, right?
Yeah.
Got to give him some grace, man.
So the movie Black Panther wasn't knowing that he was going at his father. How dare you? Why would you? Just for him to go out and kill the boy, not show him no compassion and nothing, which the boy was wilding, but still, you know what I mean?
But you knew the whole backdrop. You had the whole backdrop.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you knew, you knew the cause of all of that. Yeah.
So let me ask y'all a question a little bit off topic. But it's about the Black Panther. How do y'all feel about not recasting T'Challa?
You talking about the English, the British dude?
No. T'Challa is the Black Panther. That's his name, T'Challa. But they said they'll do another Black Panther, but they're not gonna recast T'Challa's character.
No, they are gonna recast them. The British boys
now they
gonna
talking
play.
about using the boy that play on that show on Netflix with the white with the bougie. I don't know. I forgot.
Yeah, he's a British boy.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean,
yeah, they are gonna recast him.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
but
they
to
are
answer
gonna
your
recast
question,
him.
Milt, to answer your question, initially they was tossing around the idea of his sister taking over the role of the Black Panthers.
Well, in the comic series, it actually happens. But where I was going
in the comics, she actually did take. I know in the comics,
she plays the Black Panther a couple times. You know what I mean?
I know she was always trying to fill that role.
Well,
she was never really.
She can't.
Right, she was never on the level.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
She held it down, but she could never be the Black Panther.
Right. That's what I remember.
But I was looking at something, man, maybe a couple weeks ago, where the boy who did the produced the movie was saying that they were not going to recast Tyler's character.
Yeah, they got some new info out. They're gonna recast the British boy.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I'm all right with that.
I mean, at the end of the day, again, it's back into patterns for me because we can make anything make sense. Any form of dogma you can explain away. But I'm looking at the patterns, right? And the pattern that I see is, we get this king, right? That you got young Black boys crying when he died. I mean, they was praising the Black people coming out, wearing the clothes. I mean, you never seen nothing like this in history when that movie came out. You know what I mean? The way
I think that's why they were saying they wasn't going to recast him.
Right. Then the fact that he died of cancer, we can't really say nothing about that. But my point is that we was given this big icon, and then it was taken away from us. Like,
that's why I'm at with it.
That's the pattern.
How about this?
That's the pattern for me.
I'm glad that they recasting him because I was one to say we had about 17 Supermans, we had about 20 Batmans. Right. Aquaman is now Hawaiian. We had 3 Storms. You know what I mean? We had 2 Captain Americas.
Yeah.
Why the fuck we only get one T'Challa?
Right.
Yeah,
that storyline being what it is.
Well, yeah, I mean? I'm glad they recasting them too, man.
Yeah.
My recollection of Black Panther is different from yours, though, Elanage, and maybe Vu's as well. I think at the end, T'Challa was trying to show some grace. He asked the boy if he wanted to go ahead and get the vibranium, and he said, "Nah, I'm good. Throw me in the river," or whatever else he was saying with his ancestors. So there was some grace in there.
But the contrast was he was going to lock him in prison.
All right.
Killmonger had to go to prison.
That's where he was at with it.
He was going to prison.
And he was like,
that's why he fought to his death.
I'm not going to prison.
Right. I'm not going to stay here, be in Wakanda in a prison cell. Because I'm not in Wakanda if I'm in a prison cell.
Okay. All right.
You know what I mean?
I didn't. I'm thinking about life, but yeah, I wouldn't want to.
But he did show him grace because he could have just outed him. He could have straight just outed him, but he chose not to. And
I see the point now. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in prison either, man.
Yeah, he did show him grace because he could have killed him.
Yeah, but to the point, yeah, I'm not going to prison.
Right, but he was telling him he couldn't kill. He wasn't going to kill him because of what y'all just said. He understood his story.
Yeah,
and he understood why Killmonger was the way he was.
Man, we really laid out the entertainment dogma, man. That was a hell of a. That was. Man, we really blew that shit up, man.
Yes, I did.
We blew that shit up, boy.
And you know what? One more thing, man, I want to say with that Killmonger thing is, it's always back to dogmas and what Nas was talking about earlier. Whenever we get the boy that's revolutionary, want to go ahead and rumble or whatever the case may be,
you got to be
even
put
our
down.
Own people, even our own directors. We always cast them in this extra, extra eccentric to be nice. You know what I mean? Crazy at best. You know what I mean? Just all our bananas, not an articulate. And it's been that, but I'm talking about when the guy got a real joint, we're going against the establishment hard, right? He's always just a loose cannon. He's never well thought out, articulated plan, because the ideas will be sound, but the character they have would be bananas, right? Because think about it from a general perspective and a national perspective, ain't not like having arms and all that, and be able to protect yourself and be able to secure what you're supposed to have. Now they'll take the boy and make him be just seem so demonic and take the character all the way out instead of having something concrete, right? Because he's revolutionary, got to be bananas. And,
yeah, because he was that Killmonger, just the name. Just the name alone, Killmonger.
So I find that's a habit.
They had him choking up old ladies in the movie.
That was a sad thing there, man.
oh yeah, right. See all that kind of, what I mean? No moral, no moral precept. He just a bananas. Like they can have a boy that's crazy, but he got some shit cool with him. Something like you say, and try to make us dig him. We would draw to them of it. Our boy just got to be bananas. Yeah.
He was that.
Even though his premise.
That's what I'm at.
Premise was right and exact.
That's where I'm at. As far as even though you be that's why that's why we gotta pay attention. The crazy they make them look, see what the premise is behind it, because that's what they be protecting.
Well, I think
they protect that premise, so they got to make the boy be loony.
Yeah, for me,
and that's also a way of devaluing premise.
That's what I mean. That's how they protect it. They devalue, absolutely.
Because that's why I said by the end of the movie, T'Challa went to the projects like, yo, I just bought this building. I'm gonna open up a little science center. Fuck your science center, yo.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, got a whole country. You got a whole country.
A whole hovercraft. Hovering over top of him.
Hold on, man. Y'all forgetting about the press conference at the end, man? He opened the country up, man.
Did he?
Oh wow!
He opened the country up. Man.
I forget about
that. We can't.
No, don't let them in. But we can't let them in. Man, hey, listen. By the time they finish with this, and God rest my man, so not with Stan Lee either. Reginald Huntley, the real boys that saved them and wrote that behind Marvel and them characters, when they was ready to put Stan in them out the office and told them they had 6 months to come up with something and went to work. Right?
Oh, you talking about the autobiography of Stan.
The boy they blocked on BET when he was going to do the original Panther. They had everything laid out, Queen Latifah voice and the whole nine. They blocked that on BET, and when you see it, you know why. They was not showing that shit on BET. What? That's one of them joints where, remember Eddie Murphy flick with the boy with Halle Berry in the gang? What's that? Boomerang. Remember when Eddie got turned out? So he let the boy take over, do the commercial. My man 7-Up.
Godfrey, whatever you call his name. It's Jeffrey Godfrey. Whatever.
Remember they came back in the boardroom and he let it loose?
Yeah.
And the faces on them others when they see that shit. Yeah, that's how they look when he let that Black Panther loose on BET. Yeah,
man.
We ain't doing that.
In the original comic back in the day, the Black Panther was knocking out Ku Klux Klan members.
What? Listen.
How about this?
How
about this? T'Chaka, who was T'Challa's father, had a run-in with Captain America.
That's the first joint on that joint. You seen it? What Captain America?
Shit out of Cap.
Listen, the first scene from the joint BET, the old Panther, 1942, World War I. This is Pop. He dropped down in Africa. Black Panther had to come let him know. Listen, what's up, dog? He talking about he came over there to ask the Russians questions. He said, we already have the Russians. We've asked the questions. We've taken out the garbage. You can go home now. What's the boy name? What's your boy name? He called him by his government. Somebody Rogers.
Steve.
He said, Rogers. He said, how you know me?
Yeah.
Black Panther said,
that was deep.
Steve,
that was deep.
You better take that on home. Man, he refused to. Black Panther whipped that ass.
That was deep.
He tried to walk away from him first.
Yeah.
He can't reach out and grab.
That's what I'm saying. If you ain't giving me that in the movie, you know what I mean?
So why didn't that make BET? Right. I'm talking about the small hats controlling the industry again. We talking about black.
Because they got Bob Johnson out of there. That's why.
Who?
Bob Johnson. They got him out of there.
Hey, fuck Bob.
They used
lame.
Bob was all right. Bob was all right.
Yeah, all right.
That's why.
All of it was on the payroll. Yeah.
He used Beverly to get Bob out.
Only thing black on that was the title.
I'm not saying only, but Bob did have some integrity about programming.
Yeah, all right.
He did have some. I ain't saying he was the man, but he did have some integrity about programming.
Listen.
That's why he lost his station, or this station.
They
used his wife to get him out of there, Beverly.
Yeah, well, he only had so much control because you can't move you out if you're running it.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm not saying he was in control. I'm just saying he had a little bit of
back to my point. Them small hats is controlling that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
What haven't they controlled? You want to talk about Dogma? What haven't they controlled?
we would be remiss if we talked about entertainment dogma and without mentioning the music.
Okay, I thought you was going somewhere else with it. My bad.
Shoot, yeah, we're
still talking about the small.
So before we get into that, we didn't hit most of them, right? So far, we didn't hit what? Politics.
We didn't expound on those. I mean, we touched on it, but we really expounded on education and entertainment so far.
So education and entertainment. We did a little bit on religion too, right?
Barely. We're gonna double back on all the other ones because we ain't really get into those yet.
Okay, so yeah, we pretty much hit a lot of them, but yeah, we got a lot more.
Yeah, I think at the core of it, man, it's the religious dogma at the core of it. You know what I mean? That's at the core of everything, to be honest with you. That the whole concept and construct that things can't be challenged.
Incontrovertibly. That's a hell of a word, man.
I'm glad somebody said that joint right tonight.
Listen, I had to really think hard on that, man. Get all them syllables and all that shit.
Yeah, but at the very core of it, man, I think that's where it lies at, man. Because without that foundation, none of the rest of this dogma would even play.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just think about like you know what? I'm a wait because you wanted to talk about music, right? Nas.
I mean, since we're on the subject of entertainment, I think we should definitely touch on that.
Okay.
Leave that part out. Because I honestly, as I was leading into this conversation, thinking about it earlier tonight, I honestly think that the music is even more influential than the movies. Absolutely. And the reason I say that is because I thought about movies like Superfly, which was visually a great movie, but it was that soundtrack that really pulled me in. A movie like Rocky, you know what I mean? Might have been an inspirational movie, but it was that background music that you always gonna remember. You know what I'm saying? And when rappers make music, people criticize them or try to hold them accountable. They always say things like, "Well, it's like a movie. It's no different from Martin Scorsese. We just characters." Right. The reality of it is that our children are actually emulating and behaving like these characters.
Emulating that. Absolutely.
So the music seems to have a much more, and I think it's the science to that in terms of different tones, different sounds, pineal gland.
Absolutely.
Hypnosis, subconscious, all this is science to how music can affect your soul and your mind without you even realizing it. It's a science called somatics, where they do experiments where they lay sand or salt on the table, then they hit the table with a vibration, a tone, and you see different fragments, different shapes form according to the different tones. So, same science applies to water. Water acts the same way. So the body being made up of mostly water, you know what I mean? I think that when certain frequencies go into your ears or right into your brain and pineal, it's already programming you without you even realizing it. You might just be listening to it on the surface. It's causing things to move around and shift without you even realizing it if you ain't paying close enough attention, or if you're vulnerable or young and impressionable. You know what I'm saying? So I think the music is way more influential in that sense, man. And presently we live in a day and time where dogma behind the music is being promoted like I've never seen before.
Yeah, especially visually, right?
Mm-hmm.
Visually, like with the videos and it's too much for my senses, man. I'll be quite frank, man, with everybody. I don't watch a lot of videos no more, man. I used to.
I don't watch music videos at all.
I used to, man. I used to watch it, man. I ain't gonna front. I did, man. But now it's too much, man, for my senses, man. I can't. That's definitely some programming right there, man. You know, our Nas is not their Nas. You know what I mean? They got Lil Nas X. You know what I mean? With the pink, ensemble.
That's what
you know what I mean? That's their Lil Nas X.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So our Nas is hip hop. Their Nas is pink ensemble.
Pink ensemble.
You know what I mean? Come on, man.
Pocketbooks, and
dresses.
Yes, it's crazy. It's crazy. What they do is.
Go ahead, Mighty.
I was gonna say what they do is put a wedge between. They create this divide between young folks and older people. Yeah. They create a feud there. Yeah. So what ends up happening is that the older people start sounding condescending, like Bill Cosby when he was giving his speeches, and then the younger people was like, "Play with that shit, old nigga." You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So there's never a common place or a middle ground where the two actually meet and grow together.
Very strategically done.
I don't know though. David Banner has a different take on that, man. He says that we never sat down and mentored those young people, man, as they were coming into the game.
Agree. And that goes back to that post that we was talking about when the young boy was in the top half of his class with a .13 GPA. You know what I'm saying? Us as adults, we get a little caught up in our own lives sometimes, man. Like I know we gotta survive, I know we gotta produce, so forth and so on. But I don't think we should have to do that at the cost of our children. Now, I don't know what the balance is that's going to prevent that. You know what I'm saying?
But I mean,
I think the whole dogma of the absent father that runs rampant in our communities is a big part of that. You know what I'm saying? Because even in that post, man, the first thing I thought was there was a lot of conversation, but there was nothing said about his father. You know what I mean? And I'm not placing blame on that, but I just wanted to know, where was he at in all that? Or a male figure, period. You know what I'm saying? And that just leads to a perpetual downward spin. You know what I mean? So at that point, when you're perpetually spinning downward, you become like a drill. And you're just making a hole. You're just digging a bigger hole. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's a couple different things with that. So yeah, we dropped the ball. You know what I mean? When it comes to the youth, we definitely dropped the ball. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to say it was a fault because we were surviving. You know what I mean? But we sacrificed. If we look at it realistically, logistically, we kind of sacrificed our children. We kind of offered them up to society, and let society raise them.
I think it was a coordinated effort. One of the things Nas was saying earlier, when we start off about the music piece, how we used to, how we would, how we knew that had vibration to it, and we knew the young was listening, so we put out messages to inspire the young. You know what I mean? Keep your head to the sky. You know what I mean?
But that's not.
Not that we didn't have the other things going on, but it was always a balance. And that's my whole thing with the music, since we own music and then on fatherhood, but with our social structure just in general, there's no balance. With the dichotomy, with things, with life, it's a wheel. It's a balance to all those things. For every activity, it's a time, it's the amount of energy, all that we're supposed to give. So it was more balanced now. Now it's just an overload of foolishness and madness, out there. And with back to Alan's point earlier, you know, with how we talk about how they learn to be, and your point, how they learn to be fathers. They listen through entertainment, through television, right? That's where they get their education from, you know. So in Bill's aspect, even touching on that, he did mentor in a way, you know, through his show, through those things, you know, whatever take you on it, you first seen a positive image other than, so back to what we're talking about, what we see all the time. That was one of the first things came to another image, you know, even in, you know, standard or middle class America. So, you know, with the whole, I'm with Feek on that too. With the whole, it's hard to listen to, it's hard to get. Then you got guys that's in there, you know, that's speaking that language, you know, that's still about it. Even like when we had cats, it's just, to me, it's just not as broad. You know, you got David Banner, you got, you know, other cats in there, the Boy East, you got other cats in there that's doing it. You know.
Oh, we had a serious discussion on hip hop, man, and absolutely. There are some redeemable artists within the industry. Mill was he was adamant and letting us know that on that show. Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely some redeemable artists. Yeah. But what you hearing and seeing is not reflective of that.
The industry itself.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's a beast.
You know, so absolutely.
It's a beast.
I'm gonna try to do this, man. I never tried to do this before, man. But Wise Intelligent, man, he has about a 6-minute piece now. I don't want to go 6 with it, but he's talking on like how hip hop became what it is now.
I saw that. Yeah.
So I'm gonna try to share my screen and see how this works, man. So bear with me. I'm gonna let it go for about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and try to share my screen and then hit this button. Okay. Y'all bear with me.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you optimize it. Hit that optimize check.
Oh, I didn't hit the optimize. Can you see my screen?
It's two of them. I can see your screen. Hit the optimize and make sure you share your audio. It's two squares you gotta check.
Let me stop the share, man. Let me stop. I'm a rookie.
No, go ahead. Hit the share right button there. When that box.
Hit the share button. Share, yeah, I see it now. The 2 checks at the bottom.
2 squares.
All right, so all right, I'm gonna try it then. All right, can y'all see it now?
Yeah.
Writing's not that easy, but Grammarly can help. This sentence is grammatically correct.
And I can never forget the time a guy named David Weiner called me and asked me, he said, you know, for the next album that was some of the stuff you know, particular society. You know, hip hop changing from positive to negative was not a consequence of history. It was not a circumstance of history. It was nothing that just happened on its own. It had nothing to do with the changing of the times. It had nothing to do with that. It had everything to do with the fact that there are people in this particular society who wants to see us exactly where we are. And we cannot let that point elude us. These are the facts. How do we know? 1967, Kerner Commission report on urban disorder. When black people said, yo, we're tired of this system. You know what I mean? This system is oppressing us. So we rebelled against the system. We burned things. We said, yo, we had enough. He did his little report on what caused these riots. He said, what caused these riots? He said it was young children who started these riots, and what was motivating them was a high self-esteem and an enhanced racial pride. He said the majority of the rioters were high school dropouts, but they had a higher political orientation than their peers who did not drop out. And they saw the system as their enemy, so they attacked it in the right circumstance. So fast forward to 1992. Same thing. #1 record on the radio, we had Fight the Power. Fight the Power is on the radio. Rodney King gets beaten before the world. The black youth rebelled against the system. Again, they did it again. And why? What primed them? Positive hip hop. Primed them. Fight the Power, X-Clan, Brand Nubian. You had these groups out here who were pushing, who were politically orienting black kids in the right direction, giving them the proper prompters that they needed so that they can respond properly to oppression. All right? In 1967, when the riots happened, he saw that the self-esteem and the racial pride was fueling this. So he said, how do I bring that down so that they will not riot? And what he did, he flooded the airways with black exploitation movies. Nigga Charlie and the Return of Nigga Charlie. These were movies. Hip hop didn't start calling people niggas. We had Shaft. We had Coffee. Black girl turned prostitute to do whatever. You know what I mean? But these black exploitation movies brought down the self-esteem and the racial pride so that the kids will not rebel against this system of oppression. 92, the racial pride was back in effect. We had black kids going to Dr. Ben Yuckinen lectures. We were spending our money to go see Farrakhan speak as opposed to going to a strip club. This is where we were. The most coveted article of clothing was a historically black college or university sweater. We were
intelligent. I remember that interview.
Bruh. he was on it, man.
Dropped it.
You dropped it, man.
Now I said earlier, was it say it flooded the airways, racial pride, self-esteem, ethnicity, solidarity. This shit we had, man. Period. You ain't high school dropout. You ain't had to. So, and high school dropout ain't even a stigma back to educational dogma, because all that means is that you ain't indoctrinated as much as the next person who might have the PhD.
Hey, listen, man, I'm gonna tell you this, man. I think I said this, maybe not here, but I've said this to other people. I've learned more out of school than I did in school.
Huh? Come on, man.
You know what I mean? Self-education is very important to me, man. And yeah, I've learned a hell of a lot more, man, than under the nail and foot of somebody, man.
You should.
Absolutely, man.
In the laboratory.
I want to say this, man, and I'm gonna use water as an example because music moves in the science of waves. So, you know, if there's a tsunami, right? It just comes and just overtakes the whole beach. I mean, a real live tsunami, like that joint you see in a movie or something, or they had, I think, in Thailand or somewhere at one point. Real live tsunami. I could be the greatest swimmer in the world. Me and my son on the beach just chilling, and that tsunami come. I could be the greatest swimmer in the world, which might increase my chances of survival more so than somebody that can't swim. But 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to survive because the waves of the tsunami is so intense and so strong. Somebody going to die. So in the interest of parenting and in the interest of, you know, we talked about us dropping the ball as fathers. You know, I'm not opposed.
I mean, as parents, I'm not relegating that to just men.
Right, as parents, right. What I'm saying is that, you know, I definitely reserve the thought process that says we have to hold ourselves accountable and there's always room for us to step it up. But you used the word overload, which made me think of tsunami. Like, waves is coming so strong, it's so rapid, it's so intense that even some of the best parenting right now, it ain't enough to go up against the intensity of what we're dealing with.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying?
I do. I just see that as the reason that's like that is because there's no collective. You know what I mean? There's no collective thought process, you know, or a galvanized energy to combat that tsunami. You know what I mean? I feel what you're saying 100% though. It's like, well, I guess it's a perfect analogy, man. It's like trying to swim in a tsunami. You know what I mean? So like,
and in the tsunami, once the waves come to a certain point, the ambulance come and the rescuers come and all of that. That's the galvanizing point that you referencing. You know what I mean? Where now lives can be saved.
Well, I think it's a. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just playing devil's advocate in this conversation right now, but I would think that the safest place, or safest places during a tsunami, is underneath it or way above it. You know what I mean? Either we don't have to fight it. You know what I mean?
If you're on the beach, you done.
Oh yeah, if you did.
Where the safest
follow the animals. That's my whole point.
It don't matter where the safest place is at. If it's coming, something's gonna get affected.
You know, that's my whole point. If you follow nature and bow to nature, the animals are going to tell you what's happening. You know, because they're obedient.
I mean, what you describing is placement, right? Are you talking about placement? Those that are on the beach, they dead. Period.
Oh yeah, they gone.
Those that are in the those that are in the town.
My point is, don't be on the beach. Don't be on the village, bro. We have warning signs before it comes. So like, don't be on the beach.
Always.
Don't be on the beach and don't be in the village. That's my point. You know what I mean? Right. There are ways to outsmart it. There are ways to survive it. You know what I mean? We just gotta we have to employ them.
Good luck.
We just have to employ them.
Well, I need an example, Bill, because
Sri Lanka. Everybody in Sri Lanka didn't die. Some people were smart enough to be obedient and leave that area and go to safer ground or higher ground.
We got documentation.
I mean, if you're gonna use that as an example, in any natural disaster, you got people that see the signs and leave. You got some people that see the signs and stay. Then you got some people that see the signs that don't have no choice.
Can't get out of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm having a problem with on your example, Bill. Some people ain't gonna have it.
Absolutely.
Well, everybody ain't gonna make it. My point is, you know, if you're diligent enough and obedient enough, you have a better chance. I'm not saying it's a sure shot to make it. I'm saying, you know, we have a better chance of survival if we're obedient and diligent.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to.
That seems to be all we have to work with. Is when we have these kind of conversations, all we really have to work with is how to increase our chances in this whole thing. That seems to be the basis of these conversations. Is like, how do we increase our chances? Because ain't none of us really figured out yet how to really get up out of this shit. Like, best of men. Like I always say, there have been men way smarter than me that came along and didn't make it. But they gave us lessons and blueprints. They got swallowed up just the same. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. This journey that I've been on, man, since the beginning of this year, where every day I'm finding something new. It's just like it's amplifying what I think is what you just talked about, Elenaz. There are people who've been in this struggle trying to find a way for years, man. Way smarter than us. You know what I mean? Way smarter than us, man. Doing like what they can to survive, I guess, is what they're doing. And it just leaves like a when you start like analyzing it, man, it's almost like puts a hole in your head, like, damn. Ain't nothing we can do about this shit for real.
Well, how about this?
Except be the leaders of today.
There you go.
Make incremental changes as you go along. That's the only thing you can do.
Exactly. Add a brick.
Because you just said it. It's tsunami.
Obedience.
So, add a brick to the building.
Exactly.
Add
tsunami.
Add a brick.
Right.
Because
like playing devil's advocate in this conversation. But how about stop trying to fight something that you can't beat? And just be obedient and get out the way of it sometimes. Get out the way of yourself sometimes.
But like you said, at those points, somebody gonna be in a position too.
Well, yeah, we can't say
that.
That's not realistic.
I'm gonna see it and stay anyway, not be obedient. Yeah.
Everybody's not gonna be saved. Choice. But I enjoy playing the devil's advocate a little bit with that one.
Good.
I appreciate y'all for allowing me to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the basis of this conversation is that we all see the birds and the animals acting funny. We all see something wrong. And so we like, all right, how can we position ourselves? Because obviously it's something coming that we got to be aware of.
Yeah, follow them. They're obedient.
They're fly.
Going to survive it.
Yeah, they got wings.
Not all of them.
Yeah.
Not all of them.
He said the birds.
Not all of them. There's a lot. I said the animals.
I mean, but
animals died.
Right. Yeah, animals died too.
A lot of them animals died.
So a lot of them stayed.
A lot of them died, man.
A lot of them lived too.
I ain't get to count, but a lot of them died.
Sound like you did, but a lot of them did. A lot of them didn't too.
That was a lot.
You know what I mean? A lot of them didn't too.
That's why they had that's why he was saying the thing about it being a tsunami, because it wiped out. It was devastation.
That's what a tsunami does.
Yeah, that shit was devastation.
That's what
we talked about earlier in the conversation. We talked about this vaccine that's coming in the different waves that is coming. And the first wave being the
tsunami
volunteer. Second wave being when they give you an ultimatum, you can't fly, you can't work. And the third wave being some Gestapo shit where they come dragging people out their cribs. I see them setting up this whole place. We see the signs, right? So now the question is, all right, using that as an example, what you was just saying about seeing all the signs and getting out of the way. Now we got a practical example. We ain't speaking hypothetical no more. We got a practical example. We see the tsunami coming. What are we gonna do? Answer ain't that cut and dry. It ain't that simple.
Answer's never that.
It's a lot of answers. Look, there's a lot. There's a lot of us gonna be doing a lot of shit.
Do I move to another country? Shit happen in other countries too. Same shit.
Seek out higher ground.
Yeah. Yeah, that's shit.
From a practical perspective, using that.
Yeah.
From a practical perspective, using that. What's the higher ground?
Yeah,
I don't know what the higher ground is. We gotta find it. You know what I mean? But it may be proverbial. I think it's proverbial at this time.
Well, that ain't gonna save.
But that's a great question. So,
that ain't gonna save your ass.
So the alternative. So what's the alternative then? Just give in?
That's what we're talking about. But if you're saying seek a higher ground, which I mean may be alternative, but like I think now just trying to be a little more specific. Like when that shit start coming, when they start, because now they're using a real example. You see what they're doing? They're shutting down shit. That's the tsunami that's coming. So what's the higher ground in that case? What is considered higher ground?
Oh, I don't know what the higher ground is going to be. The higher ground is actually
going to be a lot of folks.
I got something. I do got something that I think that just came to me. I think the higher ground would be the collective, to collectively fight it, to collectively say we're not going to do it. You know what I'm saying? Or do we just roll over and just do whatever they told us to do?
So back to what's the higher ground?
The collective. A collective.
Doing what?
A collective consciousness to say, okay, we're not going to partake.
We're talking about practical activity. What we going to do? Because when they come in there, you ain't going to say collective, or when they tell you to make a decision, everybody make an individual decision, right? Based on their circumstances. Because some people, economically, like Nas was saying, he's talking about all kind of stuff, all type of scenarios.
Well, so it goes back to what you said before.
They got tied to economics. Some people got tied to their living conditions. What you gonna do? Where you gonna go?
It goes back to what you said before, and it's not a quick fix. It's not a quick answer. It goes back to something that you said before. We got to learn to do self-sustaining things for us as a people and as a culture. You know what I mean? Then we can begin to combat the powers that be. You know what I mean? Or we could just, be part of what's swallowed up by the tsunami.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Now we need some practical, self-sustaining stuff.
Exactly.
What we gonna do?
So that would be, I don't know. How do we find a way to get the people to come together to start doing sustaining things? How do we get agriculture in our favor? How do we get land in our favor?
In this case, we just trying to figure out.
Let me finish.
Get everybody.
Let me finish.
Put some poison in their arm.
Let's go to something that Feek said too. You know what I mean? It starts with the whole satellite system. You know what I mean? The black codes, things like that. It's a start. You understand what I'm saying? So, I mean, there is no clear-cut answer of how we going to do this or how we going to do that. You know what I'm saying? But these are some things that we could do if we were able to sustain ourselves. Maybe we have a better position to fight that pestilence that's coming.
I think the thing that
it's my thought process.
Yeah, I think the thing that
I gotta tap out for 1 second, y'all.
I think the thing Bill talking about is the thought processes, really, because I don't know where the higher ground is at in the tsunami, man. So it's really got to be about the thought process, really. That's the way I see it. It's got to be the thought processes, because that was a perfect illustration of like, you done pretty much. So it's got to be about your thought processes and putting that together. So,
from a practical perspective, we dealing with a tsunami. This tsunami that's coming from the north, south, east, and the west.
Yeah, we're in the middle of that right now. I agree with you. If that's the example, yeah, we're absolutely living that right now.
We seeing all the signs.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I say, man, as I read all this and put something down for every day, it's like, this is a consistent battle, man.
To credit Mill's point in terms of a collective. With that said, this is what I'm experiencing every Thursday night at 8:00. That galvanizing point, collective. I don't take for granted the fact that you got us as men coming together having these conversations, because I understand the obstacles that we face as individuals to even be able to come together and have a 3-hour conversation about what's going on in our worlds.
Yeah, I look forward to it, man.
Obstacles that we deal with just to even be able to come to this point makes this such a great accomplishment in itself. That, from a collective standpoint, this is the seed right here. It starts here. You know what I mean? Before we can even begin to collectively influence the masses, we got to show and prove that we can establish that within our inner circles.
Absolutely. That's where it begins, man, to be accountable to each other. You know what I mean?
Like I said, that's a feat in itself. Don't take
that's phase one.
At all.
That's phase one, right? And as we do this more, yeah, it builds. Hopefully.
Absolutely. And I like the point you made that was practical, and what I was trying to draw out of the dialogue was that, to your point, all right, two ways of thinking, abstract and practically. So a lot of times, we'll do generalizations, but to your practical point, we need to start going through the process of practically thinking, because we got conceptual thinking, higher ground is okay, but directly what in this case, right? And so we start making strategic smooth, and we start thinking in that way. Back to education and dogma. We know you the school, they taught you what to think, and being educated is how to think, right? Yeah, how to use that, what to even think about, what even to apply your attention to, what even deserves that energy, right? So I was just trying to get to us, especially as men, we got to be comfortable and getting used to going through the process. And when we're talking practical steps, how we gonna get from A, B to Z and D. Like we talked about, it was men before us that was brighter. However, what they did leave was a path and the information that we have at our disposal.
Absolutely.
Right. So, and just thinking, going through those processes, getting comfortable and get used to going through those practical steps of, all right, I know I want to get there. So I get there. Damn, it's 8 feet high, but I got to build a tree. Build a ladder. I got to build a ladder, bridge, whatever. What I need, wood. What I got to do, chop down tree, X, Y, Z, right? Till we get
that's definitely, that's the thought process that we was talking about. Absolutely. Before. You got to think it all the way through.
Absolutely. And too many times, we at the beginning, then we at the end. And it's good. You start with the end in mind. Now we got to work back.
And you better galvanize some people along the way with you.
Absolutely.
Catch me up a little bit, please.
Oh, yeah.
We good. We just summarize, really.
Yeah, basically, I had made the point. I said, to credit your point, the idea of coming together as a collective is happening amongst us right now. That you got to start within the inner circle before we can influence the masses. So, that's just agreeing with your point in terms of working together as a collective and understanding that us coming together and having this conversation is a major accomplishment in itself, because we all face our own individual obstacles and challenges, even be able to come together on this night, have these type of conversations.
Yeah.
So,
that's dope. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely,
The
man.
only thing I was saying really was like, I was trying to encourage a never give up mentality, man, never give in. You know what I'm saying? We, as human beings, man, as Black people, more pungently, we have overcome some earth-shattering atrocities that have been, forced upon us, man, and we still remain standing strong through that. You know what I'm saying? So, as long as we never leave the mental space that us being, quote unquote gods, you know what I'm saying, that nothing can outthink us, nothing can truly overtake us unless we are just complete victims. Unless we accept that role as a complete victim. You know what I mean? And that's going to take a lot of preparation, man. And I was also pulling from conversations that we had earlier, where each one of us has made extremely strong points on how we can do that. You know what I mean? So your tsunami analogy was really on point and dope, man. You know what I'm saying? And for some of it, I was playing the devil's advocate, man. But I just wanted to kind of spark that thought process, man. That we can overcome everything because we already have overcome everything.
Well, Bob Marley and Peter Tosh and Whalers, they said, stand up for your rights, don't give up the fight. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
We definitely gotta stay in that vein, like. I mean, because really that's the key to our survival, like, just understanding that. And if nothing at all, if we ain't showing proof nothing at all, I think at this point of our life, at our age, we've definitely shown that resiliency and our will to fight.
Absolutely.
We wouldn't be here otherwise.
Absolutely.
And to your point, Bill, with all of these systems that we've talked about, none of them have been really able to stop us from doing as we work from struggling to surviving to thriving. So we're going through all these phases and these systems. We talked about a few of them.
And we lost a lot of loved ones. All
We're
these
going to
different
do that.
categories of dogma along the way.
Those are casualties of war, so we can't get caught up on that. Unfortunately, we can give them their due diligence, but we can't let that quell.
We got a lot of soldiers that have perished.
Yeah,
indeed, but we can't let that quell our fight.
Give them their honor. Absolutely.
We cannot let that quell our fight. There's going to be many more that perish as well.
It's meant to motivate us.
Exactly.
Meant to motivate us.
So
another category of dogma that we have on our list to explore that Feek mentioned was vanity, cosmetic dogma.
Vanity. Wow, that's a dope one, yo.
Listen, I only thought of that, man, because we spend so much time on that, man.
Right.
There's a lot of time on that. And time is a valuable thing. I think that really doesn't get the respect that it's due in our community, man. Time is a valuable commodity, man.
Well, energy that we put into
energy, time, all of those things, man. With this beauty
we just had the situation on the internet with the chick that put the Gorilla Glue on her hair to smooth her shit down.
Oh man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yo.
That's cosmetic dogma.
That's
That's the perfect example of it.
You know she made out too. I mean, I'm not gonna change the energy of that, but she made out on that, man.
Yeah, she cashed out.
She cashed out for all her trouble. She cashed out, man.
She monetized the shit out of that.
But the thing about it is like Eleanor said, that's cosmetic dogma, man. What the hell are you putting Gorilla Glue in your hair?
I got another one for you.
Come on, man.
Don Imus. Is that his name?
Who?
Nappy head hobo.
Oh yeah, nappy head hoes, yeah.
Don Imus, right?
Oh, yeah.
You speak about dogma in the form of vanity. I couldn't remember having a more of a deflating moment, man, when he called them chicks nappy-headed hoes, and they all didn't come back to the next photo shoot with afros. Everybody was fried. It wasn't a nap in that joint. You know what I'm saying? That was deep to me.
Oh, word. That's how that. I ain't even know it went down like that.
Oh yeah, they next photo
that.
shoot, man. They was
I didn't see that.
they was fried.
They was glammed up.
Man, glammed up. They was all straightened out and pressed out. And none of them sisters had no kink or nothing in their hair, not even a weave in their hair.
So that was considered to be a win on their part.
I'm assuming it was a gut check, if nothing else. You know, they didn't want to have that image of themselves being referred to as nappy headed as an image of power.
Wow. So in my lifetime, I watched Air Jordans go from a dope sneaker to a dogmatic concept where people standing in lines, fighting, killing each other. I mean, they was doing that back when I was coming up too, but it's on a whole nother level now.
Wow.
Yeah, well, it was similar like when we was coming up.
That's a good one.
Gazelles was it, you know, somebody taking some glasses off your face or whatnot.
Yeah.
So that's been around. That's been around in terms of a commodity.
Yeah,
taking chains and glasses and stuff.
Right. Here's one for cosmetic dogma. We use different cosmetics, lotions, and different things that got chemicals like paint thinner and all type of crazy shit in it. You know, you read the ingredients and can't even pronounce half that shit. We put it right on our skin, right into our bloodstream. You know what I mean?
Warfare. The chemical warfare. Remember, the old head told me, he said they're going to come at you to places where you expect the least. Mm-hmm. It's like daily. You know, it's like water on a rock, you know. Gotta be careful. Yeah, it's real.
It's funny, man. We talking about cosmetic. Deodorant or antiperspirant has aluminum in it.
Yeah.
Aluminum.
Most of them do. The
toothpaste with the fluoride.
Yeah.
How about these chicks injecting their ass with Fix-A-Flat?
Is that what they
I ain't heard that one, man. That's the first time I heard that one.
Is that what they using, son?
Oh, you just made that up, man, and get a
No, that's real rap, yo. Putting all kind, they got the little and that's on the black market, you know.
Right.
Even the ones that's going to the surgeon is still fall under the category of cosmetic.
When did that become a thing, man? When did that become a thing, man, with the asses and shit? When did that become?
What's her name? Sarah. What's her name, Drip?
Sarah Burton.
Yes.
Sarah Burton.
That's when it became a thing in America.
Nah, I ain't even going back that far, man. Well, in the 70s, man, in the 60s and 70s, man, with no big women.
Well, it wasn't an obsession, you know. It was just a thing. You know, now it's an obsession.
That's what I'm saying. When did it become an obsession?
Yeah, you know.
When they found out that income tax money could pay for plastic surgery or cosmetic surgery.
Yeah. So, you know, they went all the way with that. You know, you especially in our culture, you know, with the everybody want to be boobed out and butted out, you know, Nicki and Cardi.
I still I don't remember like a date when that became an obsession. I'm like,
that shit eased in. They put that shit in back with
it's just all of a sudden
the music.
Just all of a sudden that became the thing, and I was like, man, when we came up, you know, a more heavier woman, that was an anomaly. It wasn't a lot of that, man.
Right.
You know.
Well, I mean, and the fact that you had thick women, but they wasn't showing it off like they do it now. You know what I mean? It wasn't.
Yeah. Because it was more modesty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, you know, about what El just said. What El and I just said, man. You know, the chemicals that's in the food and then the products that we use, man. All y'all said that. You know what I mean? I think that has a mental component to it that's completely underplayed.
Oh yeah, them chemicals.
That's how I look. That's how I looked at the Gorilla Glue girl. I looked at that beyond the surface. It wasn't just the fact that she put glue on her head. It's the whole psychosis behind it. You know, and what that represents for our women right now on the whole, like they feel like they can't even go outside without having a shit slicked down a certain way. I mean, black men went through it too with the punks and all that crazy shit back back in the day. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's a whole psychosis behind it, man, that we never quite recovered from. So much so, man, that I've come across women that were beautiful, man, and they were completely insecure in their beauty because they might have been petite, smaller built. It just felt like something was wrong or out of place. And couldn't even fully
that's
see
prevalent
themselves.
today, man. You'll see, like you said, beautiful women, like you like just cruising social media. You know, some of these groups I belong to, man, I'm really starting to outgrow them, man. I'm probably gonna disassociate myself with some of them. But I'm cruising through, man, and I see like a good looking sister, man, says she got, she suffers from small bootyism. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Right.
That's pretty. The thing, man. I mean, what the fuck, man? You're a nice looking sister, man.
Right. That's
small
the thing.
Bootyism.
You know, one of the things that we gotta observe too is that in the fashion industry right now, it's such a monopoly to the point where the biggest fashion designers are mostly homosexual white men. You know, when we was coming up, we had Fubu, Arkanai, Sean John, Rockefeller. You know what I'm saying? Shit that catered to our build and our style. Now everything is one lane. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times that lane is dealing with, like I said, homosexual white men. And so the clothes reflect that, the men and for the women. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You hit hard with that one, man.
Yeah, well, I think I definitely agree with you. Now, I mean, I also, man, this is going to be way left, man. But, population control is huge. So if you can interject a certain mindset to where, the people don't even want to get with each other, different opposite sex to reproduce. It could be, I'm thinking it could be a way to try to control the numbers, the reproduction numbers as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, when I walk into stores now, man, say if I go into a sneaker store, if you look at the women's section, the women's sneakers have all the hard colors, all the basic blacks and grays and whites, all hard colors. You look across to the men's section, everything is fruity. You know what I mean? I look at how these people dress today, man. I'm still waiting for niggas to just say fuck it and start wearing tights.
What you mean? What you waiting for? They already doing that.
I mean leotards, nigga. I'm with you on that. They still put some ball shorts on or something. I'm waiting for niggas just to start rocking straight tights, man. You know what I'm saying? On some superhero shit.
And let's keep in mind that skinny jeans is not a new concept. You know what I mean? They was promoting skinny jeans back in y'all generation.
Yeah, David Lee Roth and all the rock stars was wearing skinny jeans. You know what I mean? Niggas wasn't wearing that shit. Trust me.
Hey man, I beg to differ on that, man.
Skinny jeans?
Tight ass Lee jeans back in the day.
They were
basketball shorts that basketball players used to wear.
And before the jeans, the gabardines and silk and wool.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. That's what I'm
tired of shit.
And listen, if we go back to the Isley brothers,
to our genre.
The Isley brothers and all
of
we
were speaking to our genre. My bad.
I'm sure the motherfucking you know about the Isleys and that motherfucking what?
Cat Band and all those boys with all that shit.
Not the Ohio players, not
Ohio players with all that.
Marquez. They had their joints permed out with the knot.
What about the Elements?
Oh yeah, the Elements was wearing. Hey, listen, man.
They was about this close to being androgynous, man. You know what I'm
saying?
Yeah,
it was some weird stuff over there, man.
Right, but I was speaking to the '80s, man. I was thinking about the '80s, man. When we was coming up, we wasn't rocking that. You know what I mean? I like the young boys now. The white boys was wearing that shit, skateboarders, rock stars, and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And you know what else too? When did men become so super concerned with high fashion?
Or as long as I can remember.
Not be fashionable. I mean, when they become so consumed with high fashion.
Well,
for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this, no.
Every
I'm gonna say
generation
this.
is a bunch of mothers that was high fashion.
Yeah. I'm gonna say
that's
this.
always been a thing
Every
for black.
generation is a bunch of them motherfuckers. That's why
I
they
think
do business forever.
I think, Mill, what you saying is because I'm in agreement with everybody who said it. It's always been an issue or a thing with us. I think this thing now is you got dudes like talking about, yo, dude, what you got on? You got on they have a whole like ciphers talking about their damn clothes and shit. It's like we didn't do that.
That wasn't part of our culture.
We didn't do that.
Entertainers,
You know what I mean?
Y'all give me people that was in the spotlight that was rubbing elbows with these people. I'm talking about on the street level.
I was about to say, I think the bigger problem is the fact that we don't have any power, control in the fashion. Like black people always took pride. Black people invented the idea of wearing suits a certain way, tailor-made, having a crease in their pants, all that stuff that black people invented. And white people picked up on it later. You know, you look at them old pictures from the 50s and all that, you ain't see a black person in Harlem that wasn't sharp. You know what I mean? So we always had that, but we also had our own tailors. We also had women that sold our clothes and shit like that. So once we lost the power,
my question.
There you go.
Once we lost the power, we lost the integrity.
Right. My question was, when did niggas become so consumed with high fashion? Not our fashion, not our style.
Yeah.
What is considered to be high fashion?
Yeah. So when you say high fashion, you're talking about like Versace and Gucci and all them type dudes. Yeah.
The runway shit.
Once we lost the power, the control of it, we lost the integrity of it.
Right.
And they always kept them European white boys paid. You know what I mean? Seem like, you know, if ain't Versace, it's
Bill Blast,
whatever them, you're the best clue. Listen, they were shouting them out when they were shouting them out in rap songs.
That's what I was about to say.
Tom Ford, right?
I was about to say, man.
These all these old white boys or young white boys, some old, some young, some gay, some slay, right?
The fuck is slay?
Yeah. You know, but yeah, Nas, but you know, when we let that go, like the music, they catered into that, you know, that went along with the music. Some brothers grabbed it back, you know, Wu-Tang, Rockaway, you know, they seen the power in that. But you absolutely right. You ain't got the means of production. They gonna modernize your ass, and modernize is a code word for, for black men. That's a code word for trying to flip you, right? What's the Modern Family? I seen the TV show. I ain't make this shit up. Don't y'all blame me. I seen this shit on TV. Ain't there shit at the Modern Family?
The Modern Family got elements of everything but you. Everything with you in it.
Yeah, all right.
There you go.
Everything with you in it, right?
This white boy told us.
But to answer Mill's question, I think.
Go ahead.
I think maybe like Vu was saying, that really has something to do with the rap music, man.
Oh yeah.
Well, they co-signed it.
Well, that's always the median.
They co-signed that shit.
That's always the median.
You know I think the first one I heard rapping about Gucci and all this was what? Big. Big was the one doing all that.
Yeah, they co-signed.
But he wasn't coming from an effeminized position with it.
I don't care what kind of position it is. It's still
I would say
fashion.
Pac. Yeah, Big and Pac.
Yeah, they was the ones talking about all that stuff, man. Gucci down to my socks.
Right.
And all that stuff, man.
So that might answer the question. That's when the shit.
But now let me say though, even though the other my boys wasn't talking about it, they was wearing that shit though. Don't get it twisted, feet.
Yeah, right. It was in the industry. No doubt.
It was all in the industry. Everybody went to the boys, Dapper Dan and all the boys, right? Yeah. Yeah,
but Dapper Dan was one of us at that time.
That's what I'm talking about. And then what happened? What you said happened, right?
They modernized him.
Right, Nas? Right, Nas? He was the cat. They used to go to him. That's why I say, even though they weren't promoting it, they was at least making that money circulate among them.
Yeah.
Now,
then they came and got him.
Took that shit.
They came and got him and shut his whole store down, man.
Now he's one of Gucci's top designers.
Right.
Yeah, they had to give him this due after he made them popular again like that. So
yeah.
So
we're
man,
gonna give you a job, not the ownership, though.
Right.
You can work for us.
Right.
Yeah.
So listen, I mean, we covered a lot of topics, man, and I was saving this one because I know this is going to be one of the heaviest ones once we talk about the religious dogma. I'm gonna go ahead and insert that into the matrix right now.
So we didn't hit all of them. This is the grand finale.
You're gonna get canceled.
Listen, we didn't hit them all, man. We didn't talk about politics. No, we ain't hit politics yet.
Yeah. I mean, we got a little.
No. This religion thing is going to take us out.
That's what I'm saying. We talked
about Kamala up there and everything. Everybody ignored it.
Man, you put that joint up every week, man.
That's right. I ain't gonna never let it forget.
We then became desensitized now, man.
I stopped calling the names though.
Let me say this on that note. We came in saying, we're not here to challenge anybody's thought process, right? And I just want to make it clear because my position was like I'm here for that. I want to bring some clarity to that. There's no way to have this conversation on the basis of truth without challenging people's thought process. That doesn't necessarily have to be the intent going in, but there's no way to speak truth without offending the lie.
Without ruffling some feathers?
Yeah, this is the grand finale right here.
So I'm gonna fall back on that because
I say this, and to your point, they say he who offends not in word is a perfect man. I'm far from perfect myself, So but to your point, that part, I'm gonna exercise my right on the religious tip. Like that's a whole show.
Hey, listen, man. Listen. There's some hesitation.
That's a whole show
let's
for
go
me,
then.
And I gotta wrap up soon, but I'm gonna sit in for a few. Go ahead, I'm in it. I'm listening.
Yeah, we all gonna wrap. We all about to wrap up soon. That's why I saved this one. You know what I mean?
Right.
Before we head out.
We do this, son. I see
everybody putting their big toe in the water and don't nobody want to jump in. You know what I mean?
You talk about the dogmas of it. It gets. It's like for the purpose of time. It's all summarized for me. Because you're talking about, for us particular. When I talk, I'm always talking in the vein of Black folks. So for us particular, that's been one of the hurdles. The things we've been talking about to me are like testicles on octopus. These are the things he uses, to entrap us or wrap us up, or like the bull said, the cape, the matador's cape, so the bull never really see the matador. He always waving the cape. So, these things we talk about to me represent that. And religious is like top, one of the top tier. We kick over the benches, we scream and shout the whole nine. And
I like the way you terming that, bro.
Yeah, and it's like, because it's like I got some, that's why I say I'm gonna wrap it up quick because it's just so many.
I'm gonna just say this, man. As we get going forward, man, the dogma of religion is about control of the mind, man. Mm-hmm. If I can control your mind, I ain't got to worry about your actions. And that's really what I'm seeing with religion, man, is I'm controlling. Well, religion is controlling people's minds. And it seeps into, as was said earlier, it seeps into every system that we have here. Every system, man. And we said it earlier. I'll say it again. The Europeans came to Africa with the book. They left with the land. Mm-hmm. All the resources. Africa is a resource-rich continent. Mm-hmm. That's where all your gold, all these things for your apples. All that stuff is mined over in Africa.
Mm.
So that is a very important piece of real estate there.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's about the control of the mind, man, and it seeps into all of the systems, man. If I could sit a white Jesus up here and have you look up at that white Jesus every day and bow down to that depiction of God in a physical form, I can control your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we at with it, man. We're about controlling people's minds so we don't have to worry about their actions. So religion is the top dogma of all dogmas. It's top dogma.
Top dogma.
Listen, the top dogma. One thing I think about when we say that too, I think about, to me, when I think about it, really, to wrap it up for our people, is the fact that how, to your point, it controls us, especially back to the feminization, because, and predominantly, we're going to ruffle some feathers here, the religious population is predominantly female in the Black community, right? So now we're talking about replacing the male figure, right, with the savior figure, right? And all the superheroes, in the Bible are males, So, that wipes you out. All the super characters is males, So you always pit it against these characters, you ain't gonna never match up, right? Excuse me. And then we talking about how, that lends itself to the white mythology, and how they propaganda that white mythology, and how that myth, whether it's true or not, is the fact that it's out there. See, that's what's important. I don't give a fuck whether you think it's true or not. The fact that it's there, it's functioning, right? In the minds and hearts of people, And
minds and hearts.
What it does a lot of times is take out the realness in our community and the I want to say the proper hierarchy and structure in our community, right? It removes that and plants it with a false ideology, with a false idea, with false promises, right? And keeps you reaching for the proverbial carrot.
Strips your spirit too.
Yeah, so it damages our households in that with the relationships.
Yes, it does.
You know what I mean? And that's one of the things that bothers me about it most, when we talk about the dogmas of it. So this is when used improperly. Because me personally, I think if you got something and use it properly and it's constructive, then it's beneficial. I don't care what guise or what name is under. If it's working, it's working. But here we talking about the dogmas of religion, period. And all of them got it, right?
All of them about control.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you made a couple points. If I understand you correctly, something that resonated to me that you just said, man. How the man.
Yeah, man. I'm done. I'm done. Y'all ain't gonna keep me on the hot seat. I'm done. Y'all ain't gonna have the church calling me.
Pope. I think you did that by yourself.
Pope on the line. Pope on line too. Fuck that.
What I want to say.
Listen, I'm like Griff. I don't want no smoke.
So if I understand what you're saying correctly, the man was supplanted by an image that he can't live up to. I guess that's my answer.
Well, I want to say this on the topic of religious dogma, right? The first step to religious dogma is to separate us from nature.
Mm-hmm.
Right? One time we would go out and go in the sun and energize our being just by going out in the sun. Instead of going out in the sun and giving praise to the sun and absorbing that sunlight, they gave us a photograph. You know what I mean? Like you said earlier, Feet, we gave up in Africa, they gave up the gold, the diamonds, the land, the resources in exchange for a book. You know what I'm saying? I think about the movie The Avatar. You know what I'm saying? Where with the blue people. when they went in and sent the missionaries in or the educators in. You know what I mean? But with those people, they were so connected to their nature. And you see that even in real life, indigenous people that stay connected to their nature are the ones that usually survive their, throughout the generations and hold on to themselves. So for us here in America, the first thing they did was separate us from our indigenous roots, our nature. And over a course of time, we grew so far away from that. If you even think, like, for our children now, if you even use the term all natural, say, here, this is natural, try this. Like, ew,
what?
I don't want that. Ew, that's natural.
Huh?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It automatically got a stigma attached to it. That's natural. I don't want.
Hey, man. Here's some. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say, what's the term health nut, right?
Yeah. Hey, man, I remember I was hollering at Mill. We laughed so hard about this missionary. Remember the Christian missionary went over to the indigenous land and he was going to bring the book to them.
I remember that. They killed
they killed the bull.
They killed the bull.
They let it come on shore.
Yeah,
they killed the bull.
People was grieving about that. That's like, damn. Oh, they was going.
He found the lost tribe.
That's what we were supposed to do.
I was just getting ready to say they should have been the first one, not the last one. They should have been the whole story.
Man, I could not stop laughing at that shit, man.
You know what's funny about that? No more missionaries went over there.
That was the end of that.
Ain't no more go over there.
That was the end of that. Listen. The history is written.
Nah, you ain't going over there.
That's funny.
Hey, but to your point, man, that nature separation, because we got to the nether or nature, right? And that's the whole thing, separate us from that reality of it. The avatar was real. What they had, the mother tree, or was it the tree of life?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Where they knew it was all encompassing, it was consciousness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. But so our whole thing, that's why we always used to remember in our early years, it was imperative for us to go back down south, right? To get back in touch, because we was up in the urban environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a hell of a. I like that. I like where you're going.
Yeah, to get back to nature, to get back to those things. A lot of our elders, generations, when they got settled here, they go back down, right? Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was like a pilgrimage every summer.
Yeah.
Every summer, everybody from up north went back home. That's what they call it. We're going back home.
Yeah.
Let me make the bold point that I know we might be hesitant to mention. We
Hey, come with the fire. Come on.
Get him,
then we
son.
tap dancing.
Get him, son.
You know what I'm saying?
That's for my other show.
It's easy to bring up Christianity because that's the most docile of them all.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But I'm not going to exclude Islam or Judaism or any of the other schisms. You know what I'm saying? They all come depending on whose hand is being presented. You know what I mean? They all come with their own form of dogma that can lead to certain levels of abuse. You know what I mean? We can look all over the world and see how Islam is being used to abuse and kill people. You know what I mean? Through their versions of their different dogmatic principles. We definitely see how Judaism it can be used to promote a certain level of dogma, which can lead to death and destruction. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to make that point. You know what I mean? I just want to be clear that when we talk about religious dogma, we talk about all religions.
And can I dovetail off that, because in reality, that's real, and how they to, like you say, those people that use those things in the name of those things go ahead and want to do that, persecute, you know what I mean? Want to go ahead and do the acts that they do. And it's funny, it came to me when I was traveling abroad, and I ran into some folks like They talk about the indigenous when they went over there to try the missionaries went over. You know, I ran to different little locales and folks in different areas, and I remember speaking of Christianity, Islam, things like that. You know, one of the things that always got me about that was the fanatics, where if it ain't this way, you know, it's over. You going to hell, right? So I'm young, and I see these people over here ain't got book the first, right? Ain't got XYZ the first, but their character, their way of life, back to the netta in nature, right, was in line more so with those folks was reading about than the folks that had the book than the folks that was with him. So, you know, for me to understand that was in nature at that point, like you say, it's instinctive, you know. So, Gumi, how I think it do a big justice. People especially don't want to talk about that and how those things is used and how those two is the main culprits. I'm like, when I was young, I was like, hold up, y'all said y'all got. I was to think this is my thing. I say, hold up, y'all say y'all got God. They say they got God, but y'all trying to knock them, don't kill them, but y'all trying to knock them off. They trying to knock y'all off. Oh, somebody got this wrong. Somebody got something wrong. Pull it up. Wait a minute, just the basic premise. Right? Where not I'm gonna let not like I'm gonna let you be in peace as long as you don't bother me. No, because you think that way, I'm about to chop your skin off.
Incontrovertible.
Dogma, I've seen the dogma between.
Right.
I'm gonna say that.
That's where we went with this. Far.
Your mic, Mel. We can't hear you.
And what the Clark said
about now?
Yeah, that's better.
All right, my bad. Yeah, I've seen Christianity and Islam go to war within immediate family structures. You know what I mean? Your parents may have raised up and be Christian, and the kids may have decided to follow Islam. And I've seen it happen in my family. I've seen a disconnect because of the dogma of those two things. Even though I always thought the concept of religion itself was to enhance spirituality and solid principles of life. And you know, if both of them are teaching you to do the same thing, why then can't there be a collab or an allowance? You know what I'm saying? Within an immediate family structure, mother, father, brother, sister, brother. You know what I mean? How can the dogma separate that? It always made me wonder. You know what I mean? I thought that was very, very strong. And I think that's kind of the same thing everybody's kind of saying.
Yeah.
In terms of religion.
It's that word again, man. Incontrovertibly. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That it can't be wrong because this is what I choose to accept.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
you know.
The base of it.
It's almost like they go, and I will put this system down on you, and you will take it. You know what I mean?
Well, that's how it was. Ironically, that's how it was spread.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? First came the missionaries. We said this earlier. First came the missionaries. Then came the religious people. Then came the soldiers. You know what I mean? Same thing. You know, El you were saying about probably how they're going to promote or push the vaccine at us. It's the same system.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same exact shit. When we going to get it? You know what I mean? And y'all speak about, you know, going back to nature to defeat it. You know what I mean? And that's how we have survived proverbial tsunamis throughout history. Throughout history. We went back to nature. We paid attention to nature. We were obedient to nature. You know what I'm saying? We were able to sustain.
In one of them countries, man, early in this whole COVID thing, they said they had already figured out how to get rid of COVID with a herbal concoction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They had that in Grenada.
Wow.
They had that over in Madagascar, a couple places.
I know in Trinidad, because my colleague is from Trinidad. They don't even have it.
No. That sunlight and that real black mojo, you know.
That heat.
Yeah.
That heat as well. So
where it's real at.
And they have a connection, like you said, Elnaz, to nature.
That's right.
They have a connection to nature as well. Man.
That's the key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where we falling short at. We've been disconnected from nature.
Exactly.
All levels. Eating
Exactly.
habits, lifestyle, our thought process. You know what I mean?
Rearing our children. We ain't teaching them that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You to your point, think about that. We all are frequency. You have a indigenous body in a European time capsule warp, right?
That's a hell of a concept. I'm digging it though.
Yeah, so everything is on a time, a sleeping pattern, everything is off. It's like Amos Wilson say, once we get rid of these and get these demons off us, even your physical stature is going to change. He said the bodies you see now represent the European experience. They don't represent us. They represent our experience here in America.
Kind of like the lion at the zoo.
Absolutely, to a degree.
Yeah.
You had a Clark quote that you wanted to throw in there.
Oh no, but what you had pointed out at the beginning, or Feet was talking about that. You, both of y'all, just that as far as Christianity, Islam, and other religions, how they've been the handmaidens and conquerors to our folks. That's how they got in. They say that's their handmaiden. That's how they got in. That's what they came with, right? You know, people still don't. We always start off with the Christians and the Europeans, but people forget Islam was there 2,500 years prior, some shit like that.
Right.
That's why it was so funny to me.
Eunuchs and cut your jeans off, made you eunuchs and all that good shit, right?
Yeah, they created
so
heinous slavery.
So that whole thing, you know, that whole thing now, like you say, they the handmaidens, you know.
Damn, y'all fucking me up with the eunuch thing, man.
Huh?
Y'all fucking me up with the eunuch thing.
Well, that's what they did, though. That's what they did, bro.
I mean,
real
that's a hell of an existence, man.
You know what I mean?
That's what they did.
Yeah.
Cut your nuts off. He feminized you to the highest level. Damn, I mean,
that's back to so Francis Crescent Wealth wasn't far off, huh?
Nah, man. Listen.
Not at all.
You about to make me go back to get the book, bro.
Yeah,
go ahead, bro. You ain't did that in a minute.
Yeah.
I'm just going. You know, he just quoted it, man.
Go ahead, grab it. Go ahead. Might as well grab it.
No, I'm encouraging you to grab it, bro. I want you to grab it. Yes, absolutely.
And let's also make the point that any effective lie has to contain some truth, and I think that's what makes dogma so powerful.
Woo!
That's what makes the dogma so effective.
There you go, right there. Y'all got to get this, man, for the people out here.
Yeah,
Dr. Francis Cress Wilson.
Yeah, uncover her name.
ISIS papers, man.
Yeah, show the bottom where her name is written on the bottom. There you go. Word.
Yeah, get that confused now.
Gotta get the ISIS papers.
Right. And in the meantime, she got a lot of good lectures that you can watch too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
YouTube is a godsend.
Absolutely.
YouTube is a godsend.
That's where I give you credit, Vu. You introduced me. Mel, probably through y'all conversations. Mel introduced me to Dr. Amos too. I've been checking him out on
Amos Wilson.
Oh man.
Listen, let me say something, man. I actually, you know, that's one of my favorites. And the reason being is what we talked about tonight. He's not caught up in any ism. You can't get him with religion. Like a lot of lectures and other people, I dig them, but a lot of them, it's an ism with them somewhere. A lot of them, not all of them. His thing is power. All this shit we talk, whatever. This thing is, you ain't got the power to exercise it. That shit don't mean nothing. Right? Yeah. You gotta get power as a group. The way he said Europeans do what they do to us, not because they just don't like you, because you bad, whatever. They got the power to do so. If they had the power to do it, they wouldn't fucking do it.
And that's why when they get caught out there, they start apologizing and all type of shit.
Right. Man, not to cut you off, Fake, but like I'm so enamored with him now because like I'm doing some. It's funny you mentioned because I'm doing a thing on him now, and we're gonna rap on it. But I'm extracting some of this stuff because to me, he's one of the most concrete thinkers of our time.
Oh yeah, he gets his respect, man. He gets his respect, definitely, man. In our circles, anyway.
Yeah.
And he didn't really care about nobody else's circle anyway.
That's
he didn't care about that other circle.
True.
I think
that's true.
I think that's where his power base lies. I think that's what Vu was alluding to. His power base lies is because he's not bound.
That's true. Yeah, he
he's
ain't
not bound by any of those schools.
And the fact that I think they killed him because he was starting credit unions. He was doing concrete stuff, not just lecturing and all that. He started credit union. They was getting ready to start. They were going to start the investment banking, the credit, the local credit union and the national credit union. So they was moving on some stuff. They say he died of aneurysm, and his daughter was afraid to investigate the case. So that said a lot to me.
Yeah, that's like Prodigy coming out with an album called Hegelian Dialect and then choking on the egg.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I don't know if you heard that Prodigy from Mobb Deep, he did an album called Hegelian Dialect. First of all, Google Hegelian Dialect. Start there. Then listen to that album. That's some of his best work. He evolved from the street culture and got more into a whole another level of consciousness. Hegelian Dialect, H-E-G-L-E, Hegelian, got it, H-E-G-L-E-I-N, Hegelian.
E-I-N.
Dialect.
Okay.
I mean, Hegelian Dialect is named after...
See, that's one of the things that I started doing too.
Yeah, writing the stuff down.
Taking notes, man.
Yeah.
Because we, in the course of our 3 hours, and again, I'm going to echo what you said. It's a pleasure to come talk with your brothers and build, because I learn something every day, man. Listen,
yes.
I don't be playing with y'all. I be taking notes, man. I be doodling and everything.
What? You see me on the side every time on my phone.
You know what I mean? I got a little doodle action and everything, bro.
Keep it pad, brother.
Yeah.
I do mine on my phone, so when you see me looking down,
that's what I'm at. I'm on my phone with it.
So I always come back, man.
Yeah, man.
Always come back, man.
Definition. I want to give y'all the definition of power: capacity or ability to direct or influence the behavior of others, the course of events. I'm gonna read that one more time. Power: capacity or ability to direct or influence the behavior of others or the course of events.
Now, I'm gonna come back to that too.
It's interesting.
Now, with that said, check this out. With that said, even in what appears to be our most powerless state, we still got power.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just about how we use that influence.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because if we ain't got, if nothing at all, even though we've lost a lot of power in this area too, but nothing at all, the manner in which we deal with our women. You know what I'm saying? Power in that.
Even our worst state. And that's the two things. Our powerlessness in some areas, but our misuse of power in other areas.
Yeah, I'm with both of y'all on that, man. And that's one of the things that I've really grown in is just recognizing the influence I have on the people around me. Mm-hmm. When you recognize the influence and listen, using your definition of power, your capacity to change things of the people around you.
There you go.
It should humble you. It make you more observant of what your abilities are.
What you're putting out there, absolutely.
Right. Especially when we talk about our women, our daughters, our sons, our nieces, our nephews, all of those folks around us, man.
Communities, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a whole nother phenomenon that takes place when you become aware of your power.
Absolutely, man.
And that's what
and I'm all about and my son can attest to this, and Ramil can attest to this too, because I say it a lot. I believe in the power of being humble. Mm-hmm. There's a certain thing that comes with knowing your ability. Mm-hmm. And there's a certain thing that comes with wielding your ability, but knowing how to use it. So I've been telling my son and my daughter for years about the power of being just humble. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't have to enter into a room like that. Just, you know what I mean? Just, you know, come in the room. People gonna know you in the room anyway because you're different.
No, for me, the way I apply that is that my world, I apply the power of stillness. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I learned it from a children's cartoon, The Power of Nothingness. You know, where they talked about in the last Airbender Avatar cartoon, they talked about
Y'all got me watching that. I done caught a couple of them now.
Oh, word, yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
should,
like that, man. I appreciate y'all on that, man.
When you at war, there are three types of jinn. There's positive jinn, there's negative jinn, and there's neutral jinn. Positive jinn is when you attack. Neutral jinn is when you retreat. Positive jinn is when you attack. Negative jinn is when you retreat. Neutral jinn is when you just be still and do nothing. And that was the most confusing one when the Avatar met the king, and he was like, "Yo, why you not doing nothing? Your whole nation has been overrun. Why you not doing nothing?" He had to explain to him, like, "This is the time for neutral jinn. I know what I'm doing. I'm being still right now." And which led to I don't want to give away the end of the series, but you know what I mean, there was a point, and the end is so phenomenal, I don't even want to touch it.
Yeah.
It made sense why his man was like, "Nah, I'm gonna just go ahead and sit here in prison. I ain't gonna do nothing." He was like, "Yo, but you got the power to destroy him right now." Like,
Boomy.
nah. Yeah. And Boomy was like, "Nah, it's neutral jinn. I know what I'm doing."
So
You know what I mean?
that brings me to a thought process, man, because I struggle with the same thing, man. You know, it was just phrased to me a little differently, man. I got it from Shamar, actually, man. You know, I had to become a being of allowance. You know what I mean? Which again is just basically being neutral. You know, it takes nothing for me to allow people the space to be who they are or to express themselves how they want to. You know what I'm saying? It takes nothing for me to do that. I can allow you to be exactly who you are. You know, and I see that in correlation to what you just said about the neutral gen. You know what I mean? I don't have to push it. I don't have to pull it. I could just.
Yeah. That's real, man.
Yes, indeed. Hey, Nas, you know, on that power aspect, I want to dovetail on that and add another extra perspective to that, because that definition is right and exact. And I'm coming from Feek brought him up, and Feek, I want you to elaborate. I didn't know if you was finished talking about Amos earlier, but I got excited once you mentioned it. But I'm gonna go from this joint here, Blueprint for Black Power.
Okay.
That's one of his last works, and to me, his greatest works. Right.
Oh, I see you got it all noted up.
Half of it, the other half over there somewhere. I'll do this thing, man. It's about 800 pages.
Yeah.
So, in here, real quick, he talk about power, and he says, and this perspective is interesting to me. He says the definitions of power are various and conflicting. This is due mainly to the multifarious nature of power itself, rather than due to its unreality or imperial spirit. Few, if any of us, doubt the reality of power and the tangible effects its application engenders. Our confusion as to its exact definition more likely flows from the fact that power, depending on the context and circumstance, assumes ubiquitous shapes and forms, varying degrees of transparency and visibility. Power is a chameleon. It takes on the texture of its environment. So he talks about how it's not their purpose to break it down. So he says here, power comes with being, with interactive existence, with being alive. It is the essence of life and the motive force of growth and development and the adaptability of living things to environmental changes and demands. Power refers to the ability to do, the ability to be, and the ability to prevail. Beingness and aliveness originate with power. To be powerless is to be willless, impotent, and lifeless, without effect or influence, to be nothing, of no account. He said, so then he goes on to say, thus we concur with Rollo May when he contends that power is essential for all living things, man in particular, cast on this barren crust of earth eons ago with the hope and the requirement that he survive, finds he must use his power and confront opposing forces at every point in his struggle with earth and with his fellows.
There it is, yo.
Yeah, you can't.
Right.
There's no way to expound on that.
Right.
There it is.
Ooh, excuse me. And you know, it's that's one of the things that us as black folks, back to everything we're gonna undergird, is going to take us to have some type of power and personal power to get it done. You know what I mean? You know, it's going to take something to get it done. Excuse me. And, you know, what Mill was saying, galvanizing, getting everybody together, getting over the tsunami. After we get it all in order, it's going to take the power. Now, to me, our power is in, we talked about earlier, our solidarity and our ethnicity. You know, for us, you know, and then we start talking about it. And it's funny, too, because these dogmas we talked about and how they divide us is really, it's really amazing to me, because it's like we don't realize that we're all brethren in a strange house being taken advantage of by strange people. And some of the conversations and debates we have are not in the right context. These are debates and stuff we're supposed to have when we free on our own. And then we could talk about family shit. We could talk about family shit.
Say it again, Vo.
Right?
Say that again,
because families and nations got all types of groups and things going on, right? A nation ain't never been one nation. That's a dictatorship. With all the nations, you gotta be Muslim, you gotta be this, gotta be that, right? So for us, we be having conversations out here now. We debating about XYZ, and we ain't even free. We free for real. They're gonna stop playing with me. Seriously. Stop playing. Or like we got power. You know, I'm using the broad context of freedom, but y'all get what I'm saying. But and we out here having conversations that is reserved for when you got power. We ain't even supposed to be arguing, debating about that shit if you ain't got no power. What you talking about? I'm this, we arguing amongst us.
Publicly.
And we ain't even get the power yet. What is we arguing about? We ain't get the power.
Yeah, bro.
Power. Then we could talk about our differences, and then we're gonna find out there's more commonalities than anything.
Mm-hmm.
And the difference is only going to, and the difference, if anything, only going to enhance it in a civilized culture.
Uh-oh.
See, diversity in a civilized culture is meant to enhance and advance the culture. It ain't about just being fucking separate and doing your own thing.
Right? That makes me think. That's beautiful, Vu. I appreciate you for that. That made me think about something we was talking about before, the crab in the barrel mentality, man. Now, everybody focus on how the crabs act in the barrel, but nobody focus on the crabs we put in the barrel. And it's not their natural environment.
It's not their natural environment, man.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
But we use that trope just like we saw that trope about the something's wrong with the mother when we was talking about the brother, the young brother in the educational system. Nobody's thinking about the damn barrel. Who put him in the barrel?
Right. How they get that far?
Yeah.
Before it became a noticeable problem.
Yeah.
I get that.
And if I'm at the bottom of the barrel, you damn right I'm trying to knock you the fuck out my way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pulling your leg.
Man.
Come on, man. I got to breathe.
I'm trying to get out just like you trying to get out. You know what I mean?
Fight or flight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but that's the way they project us in the story, in the barrel, right? That's what they project in the story. Back to power. See, like, and that's what we tell them. We don't even control the domain of discourse. When we say that, he's talking about do we not even control the media outlets and all that. We know that. But the domain of discourse, we don't even decide what's going to be talked about. Like, we don't dig this. Like, it's like we're in a game where they say you can have any color you want out of red, green, blue, and yellow. How the fuck is that any color I want?
But they told you what you want.
How the fuck you started off with I can have any color I want. Then it got to out of red, and then we think we making the decisions.
Yeah.
Therein lies
Okay.
The definition of dogma.
Right. Yeah, all right.
Completely
We
simplified.
argue about that amongst ourselves, like we making the decision.
Right.
Like we in charge.
Right.
Instead of getting in charge, then we got something to goddamn argue about.
Right. Right. Let's make the move, then we can figure all the rest of that shit out later.
Excuse me for getting excited.
No, that's exactly what I want. I've been trying to pull that out of you for a minute, boo.
Shit, this is
that's what I needed to hear. That's
and to my people, that's all I love. I say we. So, I need the people in the audience to know this is our plight. This is what we coming over. So let's family stop rumbling each other. We can work our differences and all that, and then we'll see a lot of that shit is artificially inseminated. Like, you ain't that for real. That's what they gave you. You know what I mean?
You know what they call that person? They call that person, I learned this term from Wesley Muhammad. They call her bully coon.
Yo, that's a favorite. We're gonna pull up that
bully coon.
That little piece he did on that.
You want to see that?
That's heavy, man. That's heavy. He did a nice piece on that.
Yeah, he did do it nice.
Yeah, talk about how you got the neighborhood thug, but all they thug is each other. Niggas beating each other up. They ain't fighting no white men, no establishment.
Yeah, he broke that down pretty nice, man. I'm trying to get there now.
Right. That's why it was different for me in the service than other people, because I reckon they was like, yo, this motherfucker here ain't talking about XYZ. He talking about coming at us.
Bully coon.
Yeah.
Who said it? Who got a piece?
Wesley Muhammad.
Wesley.
I'm having internet problems
Is it bully coon is it bully coon or
I got it.
You got it? All right,
Yeah,
cool.
I got it.
Yeah, it's bully coon.
All right. Yeah, he did. He dropped that.
Yeah, that was a nice piece. Yeah, that was. Yeah.
Serotonin is the brakes on impulse. Noradrenaline is the accelerator. So you drop serotonin levels, you raise noradrenaline, you raise cortisol in the body. So you got this community of people, men in particular, that are hyper impulsive. And that's what we got, who engage in violence at the drop of a dime. But all of our violence is subordinate male violence. And that's why I'm going to say this. I got to say this to my rappers. That bully coon talk ain't impressive no more. And I'm about to drop something that's going to really outlaw the bully coon rap. Why am I using that language, bully coon rap?
Yeah, I was about to say, what is bully coon? I don't think I've heard this term before.
It's not my coinage. Bully coon was the minstrel character. Remember? So Jim Crow and Zip Coon. So there was two minstrel characters that white America created. The Jim Coon, who was the goofy, dumb, infantile black man, and that made white folks feel good. But then there was Zip Coon. Zip Coon was very different. Zip Coon was a bully coon. Zip Coon was the razor wielding. He's always found with a razor. And he come through the hood and slash up the fellow coons. He's a bully to the other coons. He never wields his razor at whites. But Zip Coon is that bully. He's a coon that bullies other coons. So in the dominance hierarchy, they go from alpha males to the bottom epsilon males. That's the lowest. Paul, alpha, beta, delta, gamma, delta, epsilon. The white man is at alpha. The black man is at epsilon. What's impressive, and if you want to rap about it, as some that Ice Cube didn't, then I can salute that. Rap about epsilon males rising up against alpha males. Rap about or display aggression against your real ops, the alpha. What ain't impressive is a epsilon male talking about shooting up fellow epsilon. That's a bully coon. That ain't impressive. So in our hip hop, we're always hearing about this dude ops. All we rap about is ops. But all his ops are fellow epsilon men. That ain't impressive. That's coonery. But it's the bully coon. And so rappers that think they're impressing us by rapping about how they take out they op. That's literally bully coonery. It needs to be identified as such. It needs to stop. Impress us. Let the epsilon men rise up against alpha and replace the alpha. That's how dominance works. A non-dominant male seizes power from a dominant male. Not a non-dominant male bullying another non-dominant male. You don't get no cool points, bro, for being.
Yeah, man.
That was heavy.
Thinking was epsilon male, but Billy Coon is the character, right? Wow.
Yeah, watching that again, man, pulled me back into maybe some things that I don't necessarily agree with him 100%, but his explanation is definitely on point, man.
Oh man.
Now he got me going. I'm gonna look for why the hell I got to be an epsilon male. You know what I mean?
Well, listen, listen, whether we agree with him or not, back to power. We got to take the reality of the situation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna look it up.
You ain't supposed to like it. You ain't supposed to. That's
what I'm saying.
That's the whole thing. That's why we're supposed to be rumbling.
Yeah.
Because how another man or group of men will allow another man to be over them. See, like at the end of the day, that's why I get back to what we arguing about and all that. Like that, we gotta have the real conversations amongst us and kill the BS, because that's real what he just said. You ain't the shots. That's why they say the term the man, right? Excuse me. That's why they went through all that, because on the totem pole, the hierarchy. Let's look at it. Whether we like it or not, male is a social definition as well as all the other definitions. Your social status in society. Excuse me. And male is also a societal definition that we determine, right? So in our hierarchy, excuse me, we, like you said, you got the alpha male, you got us down here, right? And you got the coons doing what they do. Excuse me. So we got, look, our neighborhood, you know, even when loved it, but during gang war, all that era, we was mainly with each other. We wasn't attacking the establishment. We attacked the establishment in the 60s, right? During the riots and all that. 70 era, gang war era, we was rumbling each other.
Yeah. It was a total switch. Yeah, absolutely.
Go some more unpopular thinking, man. He just summarized how I look at characters like 50 Cent.
Yep.
Jay-Z.
Yep.
No.
I mean,
I know you ain't
I can name down the whole list, but in my generation, and it's not a personal shot against them as men, but I'm speaking about the characters that they embody that allowed them to move into the positions that they moved into.
Bully Cone.
Yeah, right. They made careers out of shitting on black people that were in less fortunate positions, but they would never direct that same energy towards
the establishment.
Right.
Now, man.
That wouldn't be profitable.
Nah. Especially 50.
You know what? Now that I think about it, man, he probably was the biggest bully coon on.
Come on, man. Come on. Listen,
he probably the biggest bully coon out here.
What? I'm with Dread on that one. I ain't giving Hov a pass on that.
Oh no, me neither. Not at all. But I'm just saying 50 now, he's still like on the net with this shit. Like
he's still doing bully coon shit
as we speak.
Come on, man. Why are you doing that? I mean,
that's how he stayed relevant.
Well, I mean, when I first heard that clip, man, it made me look twice, man.
Yeah.
I still need to look up the definition. Like you said, I need to consume it whether I like it or not. Find out what epsilon male is.
I just watched the Biggie
Beta,
Smalls
Epsilon.
documentary.
Ain't that how it go? Alpha, Beta, Epsilon in the Greek.
Yeah, the fraternities, how they got it set up. Alpha, Delta.
Epsilon is the lowest one.
Alpha, Delta, Epsilon.
I thought it was Alpha, Beta.
I just watched the Biggie documentary, and one of the things that I did appreciate about it is that they humanized his character. But nonetheless, still, even the way I perceive some of the stuff that Big was coming with lyrically, it was along them same lines when he was talking about robbing pregnant moms for their number one mom pendant. You know, you remember the quote I brought up previously when he said, "Don't you know my nigga gotta kidnap kids, fuck them in the ass, dump them in the bridge."
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
beef is played out.
Yeah,
you know, it was just a whole era that we grew up in, man, where that just became the norm.
Yep, they pressed that. Absolutely. And we said that about something else earlier, to fashion. So back to that part too. Hip hop helped garner that in. The Epsilon Male helped garden that in. I mean, the Bully Coon rather helped garden that in. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, hey Feek, I might can help you with the Epsilon Male. I think they call them metrosexuals now.
They call it homo thugs. That's what we got now. Homo thugs.
Same thing.
Well, I'm not looking that up.
Now
I'm absolutely not looking that up.
Might get a picture of your boy 50 on there.
Man.
But listen, I think we did a pretty good job at touching on all these topics tonight. You know what I mean? We at the top of the hour. In fact, we in OT, which I always appreciate that when we go overtime and the energy still be going. Everybody be like, all right, I gotta go to bed, I gotta get up in the morning, and we still be rolling because the energy be hot. You know what I mean? So I'm digging that too, man. Listen, man, until the next time, we gotta make sure we communicate about what the subject gonna be for next week. You can reach out to me, let me know what's up with the
I'm gonna follow up with you this weekend on that. I got something for you on that. Yeah, both of y'all.
What?
The StreamYard.
StreamYard.
Okay, yeah, dope, definitely. Hey,
I want to get
for y'all. Did y'all receive that mail?
I did, man. That's on my docket.
Okay,
I got that. Thanks,
this
man. I
weekend.
appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Hey, man, it's been a pleasure building with y'all tonight, man.
Man, as always.
I'm gonna say this though. This went good, man. I'll be honest. We hit all the systems. We didn't really go hard on religion, man. We gave y'all a pass tonight on religion, man. I'm gonna tell y'all.
I don't think
it's another time. It's another show, another time. I told you that deserves its own show.
Hey, Dread. We gonna let them two handle it this time. We already did that one.
Yeah, man, that's another show for another time, man.
Yeah, but we gave it to y'all, but we just didn't hit y'all in the mouth. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was necessary. It's about expounding. So I say as usual, man. Love y'all, brothers, man. The pleasure's always mine. You know what I'm saying? This is my therapy, and I hope it reaches everybody and does them good like it does me, man. Appreciate y'all.
Likewise, man.
Peace, brothers, man. It's been real, man.
Hey, no doubt, y'all. Thanks for having me, man. To the next trip.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right.
Good night, sir.
Peace out.